typically the best way to get somebody better. But there are just certain injuries that won't get better on their own. They fail to get better without surgery, or they're clearly such that they need surgery.
Does someone's personal interest and feelings play into medical decisions?
We have to look at the patient and decide what's best for them. It's always good to ask the doctor, what would you do? But I always turn that back around and say, well, I'm not you. Let's look at what you need, because some patients may have the exact same sort of needs that I have, but what I need or what I think will work isn't always the best thing for the patient given their specifics.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but a way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for well over 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Homer here. There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. She wants a diamond. You know it, I know it, and Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge selection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for $9.99? Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds. $9.99 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Oh, baby! Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield and Brookfield. Why overspend when you could save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Better for less. Some jewelers are charging nearly $5,000 for a lab-grown diamond. Not Robert Hack. Your visit will be worth it. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. They got some of mine. Remember, before you do anything, call Robert Hack Diamonds. Visit RobertHackDiamonds.com for information, RobertHackDiamonds.com, and visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. Kyle Brust and Nortman. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Who is Jaren Hall? That is the question, or the quagmire. Is that what a quagmire is? Is that a question?
I like the word quagmire.
Yeah, giggity giggity. Who is Jaren Hall? That is the quagmire of today. This is KBN on ESPN Wisconsin. I'm Kyle Wallace. He's Brad Norman. How you doing today, Brad?
I'm doing good. Thursday, another day closer to game day.
Yeah.
Big day coming up. I feel like Thursday was always the day, at least when I was playing, where it starts to be really honed in.
Yeah.
I feel like a guy as someone now in the sports media alongside you, I feel like, the stories of the week really get honed into game day. So that's what we're going to be talking a little bit about today. What are the Packers facing on Sunday?
What the Packers are facing on Sunday. Before we kind of delve into that, out that hoodie, because right now, as everybody, you may not know, but Brad Norman right now is only wearing athletic gear that's issued from a team until he runs out. Ben and I have a bet of 78.
77.5.
77.5. If he goes 78 straight days of wearing some type of team issue gear, because Brad Norman played for the Wisconsin Badgers, he also played in the NFL for the Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. If he is able to wear team issue gear for more than 77 days, I have to take Ben to lunch here. And if he cannot, Ben will take me to lunch. What day are we on? And talk about what you have on today, because that's an exclusive one.
Oh, yeah, this is. So this is day 49 for those who are keeping track. So we're more than halfway there. I've went through all of my T-shirts. We are now on to hoodies and long sleeves. This is a Wisconsin Badger 2011 Rose Bowl sweatshirt. So this is when we played TCU, first Rose Bowl, the first of 3. And I'm choosing bowl games from Wisconsin because, of course, Wisconsin plays in the ReliaQuest Bowl on Monday, on New Year's Day. So I was like, you know what? This week, I'm going to focus all on Wisconsin postseason close. It feels right. It feels fitting.
I like it.
So I did a Wisconsin Big Ten Championship one yesterday. Yesterday was a Rose Bowl. Tomorrow will be a Rose Bowl. They tend to give you a lot of swag at the Rose Bowl. So that's the primary of my gear.
I see, and that's a nice one. I have some Rose Bowl stuff myself, but I had to buy mine.
Yeah.
That wasn't an option to buy.
No, this one came free. This one came free.
800-990-3776. That is the ESPN Wisconsin talk-in text line. Also, stream us on YouTube. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. Also, ESPN Madison on YouTube, because I'm telling you this right now, we have a question for you all. Hit us up on the talk-in text line in YouTube as well, and here on ESPN Wisconsin on our talk-in text line. The question is, who is Jaren Hall? Do you know who that is? That is the question of the day. And the reason why we ask who is Jaren Hall, Brad, is because Jaren Hall may be the NFC Player of the Week next week. Jaren Hall was recently named the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. So this individual could follow in the footsteps of the two men before him who either, whether you're talking about the first-round draft pick in Bryce Hall, who has not played well this year, all of a sudden looked like a legitimate first-round pick, or you're talking about Tommy Cutlass, Tommy DeVito, Danny DeVito, who all of a sudden looked like a folk hero when he beat the Green Bay Packers, or we're talking about Baker Mayfield, who all of a sudden looked like the Heisman Trophy winner, #1 overall pick, Baker Mayfield, because he played against this Joe Barry defense. So we just want to get fans familiar with somebody who may torment the Packers defense and torment our fans on Sunday on his way to being the NFC Offensive Player of the Week.
You know what this reminds me of? You know when you're in a group chat, you're a bunch of people, and all of a sudden you see numbers getting added and taken away from the group chat, and you don't have their number, and it's a level of, oh, hey, this is who dis? You know, who is this? And the guy goes, oh, hey, this is Jaren Hall. And there's still the second question of, okay, who are you? This is what I kind of feel like what the Packers have experienced over the last several weeks. You got these guys added to the group chat. I've never heard of them, don't know who they are, but you better get to know them because they're likely going to have some success.
And so we're going to take time to educate ourselves and also educate you, KBN Nation, on who Jaren Hall is, because let's be honest, most of us do not know who the heck Jaren Hall is, where he's from, what he is about, and a lot of us for this moment are learning he is a starting quarterback this week for the Minnesota Vikings. So, Max, can you help us and ask us some questions so we can play a game of who this with Jaren Hall?
Because it seems like even with the name Jaren Hall, that leaves a wide range of possibilities.
Yeah. Who he could be,
who
background. I mean, I'll tell you this right now, it's a lot. So let's play the game. Who is Jaren Hall? Ask us a question so we can figure out who this guy is.
All right, first and foremost, I think I know that you guys know this, but where did Jaren Hall go to school?
Oh, yes. Brad, do you know?
So I do now. As we were talking in our pregame show, we were talking about, I legitimately did not know one fact about Jaren Hall. And my best guess, my honest to God best guess is I feel like he played at Toledo. Like this is the kind of guy, a Jaren Hall, no-name rookie that's going to be randomly starting in week 16, 17. This guy would be like a guy who just tore it up in the MAC for 4 years. That sounds like Toledo sounds right to me.
And so the only reason I knew why he played what he played is simply because he got hurt a couple weeks ago, and I just remember, Jaren Hall from BYU. That's the only thing I knew. Thing I knew about Jaren Hall. Age, anything else, race, background, I have no idea. But I knew he played at BYU University, which took me down a little bit of a rabbit hole as well. What's the next question? Who are the Packers going against on Sunday in Jaren Hall? Who is this guy?
All right. Can you tell me in which round, or if he was at all, that Jaren Hall was drafted?
I mean, I don't even remember him clearly at BYU. I thought he went to Toledo. This has got to be a day 3 guy. This has got to be 7th round or undrafted to me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 6th round draft pick only because maybe he did something at BYU that was good, and the fact that he's starting right. I mean, there's no way there's so many undrafted free agents who are starting this year. Jaren Hall can't be part of it. He had to get drafted.
But I will say the Vikings had a expiring contract, Kirk Cousins. It leads me to believe maybe they would take drafting a quarterback seriously.
5th round. I'll say 5th round.
I'm going to stick with 7 because, again, this is Jaren Hall we're talking about.
I'm going to call the no-name Jaren Hall got drafted in the 5th round.
What do you say?
He was drafted in the 5th round.
All right, now,
Kyle,
just
let's
throwing
go.
stuff out there, just some guesses, So right now, what we know about the starting quarterback is what, Brad?
We know that he went to BYU and he's a 5th round draft pick. That's all we know.
And we know that he's probably going to be the NFC Player of the Week.
That's right.
Because he's going up against the horrendous Joe Barry defense.
He's the front runner for the Week 17 Player of the Week.
Already, isn't that crazy? He gets hurt, comes back, and going to start this game. He's the front runner already for NFC Player of the Week. I tell you, I need to play against Joe Barry.
Yeah, I wonder what his skill set is like. I wonder what kind of game. Do you think that just Jaren Hall? Does that sound like a mobile quarterback to you, or does that sound like a pocket passer?
So here's the thing, and Max, you have to let us know this. Is that to that question? I feel like because he went to BYU, maybe because it's Zach Wilson, maybe because it's Steve Young. Because Steve Young went to BYU too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Or was it? Yeah, no. Doug
Well,
Flutie was the
Taysom Hill, BYU guy.
They all are athletic
that's
runners.
right.
So I'm assuming Jaren Hall probably had a 40 of like 4.65 or something like that, and he can move around like he's a dual threat quarterback.
He's RPO, like Tommy DeVito.
Like Tommy DeVito.
We're on.
I think we're doing a little scouting report here.
How close are we, Max?
Yeah.
So you're saying he's a mobile quarterback?
I'm saying he's a mobile quarterback.
According to NFL.com, his overview as a prospect was the first sentence is he is an undersized pocket passer with unimpressive arm strength.
Okay, wait a minute.
Wait, he's an undersized pocket passer with not good arm strength.
So he's small.
Yes. What does he do? Does he do anything?
Is he like Brad's buddy Russell?
So it says Hall's field command gives him a shot to make it at the next level. He throws with excellent ball placement to targets on the moves and delivers with feathery, soft touch.
Okay, soft touch.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. Here's a good thing. Listen, KBN Nation, we're learning something good. Jaren Hall can't run. Because what did Tommy DeVito do all against the Green Bay Packers defense?
Whatever he wanted to do, Kyle.
Listen, if anything broke down, he didn't have his first or second read. What did he do? He took off right up the middle, and he got himself yards and moved the chains against the Green Bay Packers. It's good to know this week they are not playing a quarterback that can move the chains with their legs.
So let me break it down a little bit. We got a guy who's a 5th round draft pick, who I never heard of, honestly, before this morning, from BYU, who's undersized pocket passer that doesn't throw the ball very well.
Come on, he sounds like Kyle Wallace.
He does sound like Kyle Wallace.
Only difference is
who he sounds like. Would you like to take a guess at who his NFL quarterback comparison was coming out?
Good question. Who has a feathery, soft throw in the NFL? Is that like a Okay, I'm thinking undersized. I'm thinking pocket passer. Now, I'm not saying he's him, particularly because he's having a great season. Does it sound like a Tua kind of situation? Like best case scenario?
It's a good guess, but that is not Tua. But that is a good guess, I'll say.
I have no guess on this one. I think Tua is an excellent guess because you're talking about undersized quarterback.
Like accurate
quarterback type. But
I'll give you a hint. This guy is currently starting for a team in the NFL in the AFC.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh, thanks.
That narrows it down.
Yeah, 16 teams.
It could have been like a
16 starting quarterback. Gardner Minshew.
Wow, it is Gardner Minshew.
No way.
Yes.
Kyle, you are nailing this Jaren Hall stuff.
I mean, come on.
The Packers need to hire you as a scout, Kyle.
They should.
This is unbelievable.
Listen, we got the new DC right here.
Yeah, we do.
I'll take a hiatus from KBN in order to save the Packers defense and save our sanity on Sunday and the week after that and in the playoffs because obviously, without even having to scout the guy, I already got his profile down.
We should put together your defensive coordinator resume. Now, I'm not going to let you apply because we need you on this show.
Sacrifices have to be made.
I wonder what your defensive coordinator resume would look like. I mean, we know you play
blitz. Blitz. I would have told Jair, listen, Jair, I'll let you play if you actually try to tackle for once.
But you're a cornerback yourself. Of course, you'd want cornerback blitzes.
Yeah, I'm trying to blitz. That's all I'm trying to do. But I do have a question on it.
Okay.
So, Jaren. The last thing I'm trying to figure out is this a brother or not?
Okay,
because the fact. Now here's the thing. I'm not trying to be offensive, and if I offend anybody, I apologize in advance. And I don't know if you guys have seen this thing of what the black players with the white players in the NFL.
Yeah, of course.
And so I'm just saying, which team he gonna be on? Now, based off the name Jaren, I would have thought he was a brother. I would have thought he was a brother, but. The fact that they said he was a pocket passer, I'm not trying to be offensive or anything like that, but most brothers in the NFL got some wheels or can move a little bit, so pocket pass, I think this is a white dude named Jaren.
I think you're right. When I first heard Jaren Hall.
Or he's mixed. He's one or two.
Yeah, I felt like it could have been anything. It could have been anything. but I'm hearing BYU.
Yeah, he went to BYU.
I'm hearing unathletic pocket passer. Gosh, that doesn't sound like...
He's probably, 26 years old as well.
How old is he?
25.
25.
He's 25 as a rookie.
Hey,
He's
because
actually
you know what?
6 days older than me. He was born 6 days after I was born.
Because here's the thing about when you go to BYU and you're Mormon, shout out to all the Mormons out there. Listen, Mormons take their little trips that they take, and then also, they abstain from things, and on top of that, he probably got like 4-5 kids.
Is he married?
Or he's not married. He's either a virgin or he's married.
I wonder what the over-under on like kids are, because the Mormon cultures have lots of kids, right?
He's either a virgin or he's married. There is no single.
If you're committed,
there's no single. He's married with kids. It's one of the two.
I do not see anything about marriage here.
So he's a single virgin. So ladies, if you want to, Jaron Hall might be out.
Don't put that out there on him, Kyle. You don't know that. You don't know his business.
Okay. Okay.
We got to answer the question. So is he white, black, mixed?
He is of mixed race, white and African American.
Wait a minute. So this brother can't move and he mixed?
He's mixed race.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, yeah. I thought he was white. The name Jaron now makes sense. I hope, again, if I'm offending anybody, I apologize in advance. But it is what it is. Some stereotypes are real.
Our best guesses. Yeah. That's all we're trying to do. We don't know anything about him.
Okay. So he's, oh man, I want to go down a rabbit hole so bad, but I'm not.
The thing is, we got to get to know this quarterback, because this morning I know anything about him. We're going to see a lot of him on Sunday night, Kyle. And he's going to be facing that Joe Barry defense, who honestly, with all this Jair distraction, we have not talked a lot about Joe Barry and his defense.
We have not. He has been let off the hook this week because of, like you said, Jair. But it is important for us to have this conversation. And yeah, we had fun and games with talking about who is Jaron Hall. Jaron Hall is going to be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football after Packers travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. And why this is important is because a couple weeks ago, if you asked us who is Tommy DeVito, we would just say some, undrafted free agent that plays for the Giants. We weren't concerned about Tommy DeVito cutting us up the way that he did. And then going to the following week with Baker Mayfield, listen, Baker hadn't had a great season this year until he played against the Green Bay Packers, and he lit us up. And then following that, Bryce Young, Brad, you are a former Panther. The Panthers ain't sending you emails talking about how great the season is,
sure
are they?
Ain't. Nope.
Their first-round draft pick is not doing very well. They fired their coach during the season. The team is in disarray. And guess what? The team played so well against the Green Bay Packers that Bryce Young almost led them back to victory. And if it wasn't for the fact that Bryce Young could not win that game, he would have been the NFC Player of the Week as well, following in the footsteps of Baker Mayfield. So that's why Jaron Hall, getting to know who he is something Packers fans need to get comfortable with, because he may light us up too.
It is, and he might go from being a complete no-name, similar to Tommy DeVito, to being right on the landscape of having a great career game. And honestly, for the Minnesota Vikings, they probably would love to see that. I mean, how could you have a better first game than facing this defense? I mean, they're going to just give you 10 yards in passing every time.
Yeah, he's chomping at the bit.
It just makes me think, is there anything, and I mean anything, that Joe Barry can do to save his job at this point? Because this time last week, I was telling you guys, look, Matt LaFleur's a loyal guy. And most of the year, the defense was kind of bend but don't break. I think he's going to get fired, but there's a shred of doubt, wondering if he could possibly keep his job if he goes down the stretch with elite defensive play. Now, that was before the most shameful performance the defense put up against the Carolina Panthers. So then I came on Tuesday, I said, look, now I have no more doubts. I have no doubts he's going to get fired at the end of the season. But it just makes me think, now that that talk has receded, is there anything, if he pitches 2 shutouts, let's say he goes shutout, Packers make the playoffs. I would love to know from KBN Nation via our group chat on YouTube or from the talk and text line, is that enough for him to keep his job? 2 shutouts making the playoffs, is that enough?
800-990-3776. Brad has just made me upset because he just put into the atmosphere that Joe Barry could potentially keep his job. If Joe Barry is able to have 2 shutouts in the next 2 games against the Vikings and against the Bears and have a solid performance in the playoffs, do you think there's a chance to keep it for him to keep his job? 800-990-3776. Ooh, I got a lot to say on this when we come back, because you done ticked me off. Keep it locked. You're listening to KBN on ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
Giannis does look like a longer, he beats on his body, kind of plays so rough. You wonder about
Shut up, Max. Yeah.
I'm not letting that one pass.
Yeah, I just realized beats on his body. Like I meant like physical.
I don't
man.
know what y'all talking about.
Physicality down there.
Come on, Kyle.
No, you guys are. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure your minds are in the gutter. Grow up.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Every pass.
Back outside Cam Jones to Joplin. 3 in the corner. Holla at your boy.
Every treble.
Throws back out to Gold. He'll try another 3. Good again.
Oh, yeah.
Every shot.
Gives back out Joplin. The 3 is.
Joplin's feeling it. Holla at your boy.
Every dunk.
Lob for Iguodala, who stuffs it. Beat everybody down. Oh, baby, this is good.
Every single second.
Marquette over Georgetown by 30. 81-51.
We are your official home for Marquette Golden Eagles basketball. 94.5 ESPN.
In the heart of downtown Milwaukee, there's an all-new Potawatomi Casino Hotel, where there's a table waiting for you at 12 bars and restaurants, a winning seat at 40 table games or 3,000 slot machines, plus the thrill of bingo, full-service sports betting, and more. Are you ready to spark something new? Light up your senses at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Explore more at paysbig.com.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
The Green Bay Packers squeaked out a 33-30 win over the Carolina Panthers last Sunday on Christmas Eve. Matt LaFleur, when asked about the Packers' defense struggling in the second half, said that the Packers' offense needs to do a better job of helping out their defense.
But it wasn't just on the defense. I mean, offensively, you got to give them a breather, especially if we're bleeding a little bit defensively.
The Packers play on Sunday Night Football. Kickoff is set for 7:20.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
Hey, it's Jason Wildig for Associated Bank. Looking for a bank with home field advantage? You got it. At Associated Bank, we're more than just a bank. We're your neighbors. That's why scoring a Packers checking account is the right play for your pay. And here's the kicker. Your Packers debit card gets you 10% off at the Packers Pro Shop. Join the team today. Open your Packers checking account at AssociatedBank.com/Packers. Associated Bank, the bank of the Packers since 1919. Your money works here. Member FDIC.
The holidays are upon us, and a $500 shopping spree at the Bucks Pro Shop could be yours for gift giving. From exclusive gear and jerseys of your favorite players to collectibles and so much more, the Bucks Pro Shop is the place to make the Bucks fan in your life level up their fandom. From now through January 7th, head to ESPNWisconsinContest.com to enter for your chance at this premier giveaway. That's ESPNWisconsinContest.com. Check your list twice and head to ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Tired of power outages disrupting your life? Make them a thing of the past by getting a Generac home standby generator from Adams Generators. Adams Generators is the largest and #1 rated Generac dealer in Wisconsin. With 24/7 emergency support, our factory-trained technicians are standing by to assist you. Visit adamspower.com/generators to make sure your power always stays on. That's adamspower.com/generators.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I got loyalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece.
You know, I love this song, and I appreciate loyalty. But in this situation and scenario, Matt LaFleur's loyalty is going to cost me my sanity. This is KBN on ESPN Wisconsin. He's Brad Nortman, the 6 six-time, 6 years. Is that what Ben says? The 6-time.
He does say that.
The 6-year vet NFL punter.
I'd go with Wildy's one on me. Long-time NFL punter.
Okay, the long-time NFL punter, Bradley Nortman, and also Wisconsin Badgers great punter. He should probably be in the Badger Hall of Fame for punting.
Hey, I mean, I'm down to getting that campaign going.
He was that good at Wisconsin that he ended up getting drafted in the NFL as a punter, which Homer says is an absolute sin that you should never commit.
That's a little too far from Homer.
I mean.
It goes too far. I mean, like, okay, should a punter be drafted in the 3rd round? Probably not.
Should a punter be drafted
6th or 7th? Hey,
you were 5th, You were 5th or 6th.
6th.
You're a 6th round.
I mean, there are some bad punters out there, and they hurt their team, and you don't want that. And it's worth selecting later in the draft. It's a day 3 draft. Okay, I'll say that's a day 3 type of draft. If they're good enough, you want to get your punter.
Did you expect to get drafted?
You know, I didn't. It's actually funny. So
okay, I want to hear this draft day story.
So I played in the Rose Bowl that year, and I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to go about the draft process because we had a really good draft class of punters, right? We had 5 or 6 guys, me included, that were all NFL capable. We got invited to the combine together. I actually got invited to the Senior Bowl, which is a high honor. And I was like, oh, shoot, I actually might have a shot at the NFL. So I went through and did all that, and I had individual private workouts. So I had individual private workouts of 3 teams. The Panthers, ironically the Jaguars, and the Rams. So those are the 3 workouts I had where they came to Wisconsin. I dominated the Jags and the Rams. When the Panthers came to town, it was like the classic crappy Wisconsin spring day. It was 38 degrees. It was 20-mile-an-hour power wind. I mean, it was so hard to hit a quality punt when you're trying to impress the special teams coordinator that just came in just to work me out. When I left, I was like, when he left, I was like, I'm never going to talk to this guy again. Like, that was my worst workout easily. So anyway, moves up to draft day. I don't hear a peep from Carolina. Not a peep. But the Rams talked to me throughout. The Jaguars talked to me throughout, thinking like, hey, we like you. We think you're going to go with you. Oh, great. But I don't hear a thing from Carolina. Shows up to draft day, and the Jags, who I heard the most from, they drafted Brian Anger, 3rd round. Famously 6 picks before Russell Wilson.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, it's over. Like the one team that showed the most amount of interest in me, it's over.
They liked you. They love you.
Forget about Carolina.
That's why he said you shouldn't draft a punter in the 3rd round.
Yeah,
that's the little dig you tried to throw.
The 3rd round. But then, sure enough, I'm just watching the draft. We had a small get together for the draft. I'll never forget sitting on a chair in my family room because my agent called me and he's like, look, if you are going to get drafted, it's going to be the Rams or the Panthers. They're both coming up. So just stay by your phone. So I remember just sitting there, not thinking it was actually going to happen, starting my mind right for the whole undrafted situation. And I look at my phone and it's a Carolina area code.
I was like, did you start crying or did you freak out?
My hand shaking a little bit right there. But you know me, I was like, hello, this is Brad Nortman, and then you go from GM to head coach to all the way, and
hey, buddy, you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Swing that leg up and down.
That's right.
This is Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
You ready to kick here? We're excited to have you.
Man, it sounds like him. It sounds like Coach Rivera. And then, so I'm on the phone. I've been on the phone for probably 5 minutes. So this goes to show how long it takes for the TV to catch up.
Yeah.
It's during commercial, of course, of the NFL draft. And, the name goes on the bottom, like Brad Nortman picked Carolina. The whole crowd, erupts in laughter. I have to go to the other room. So it was a surprise. I had low expectations, but it made for a special day.
Now, was your famous little fake punt, was that part of the highlights they took? They had to show highlights of you, right?
It was a great point of joking with them because most of the time they would come to Wisconsin, they'd stay overnight. I would get dinner with these special teams coaches. We get breakfast together. So they want to get to know you and I want to get to know them. And so, that would come up in joke because, in my junior year, I had 2 successful running fakes. I'd always say, hey, in my draft profile, it says athletic, right? It says multi-threat punter, right? And they always say it was an easy line to go to break the ice and remind them that, hey, I'm an athlete.
Look at that. Brad's an athlete. Now. 6th round pick of the Carolina Panthers. Brad Nortman here. We went a little bit off task, but you know what? That was a good story time. I enjoy hearing.
That was fun.
I was really enjoying listening.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, your draft day. What you think it was a wasted pick or you think it was a good pick?
Oh, come on.
Who went?
We went to the Super Bowl, buddy. We went to the Super Bowl under my tenure there.
Okay, yeah. And then the Jaguars did well.
Yeah, the Jaguars. I ended up going to the Jaguars after all, right? So it all came full circle.
Who got drafted after you? Like on the or in the 6th round around you that turned out to be really good, where the Panthers probably could have.
Josh Norman was picked 5th round. Oh, okay. So I don't know who else was picked around me.
You played with Josh Norman?
Yeah.
Was he?
That's kind of like Jair, right? Like Jair.
Wait a minute. We're talking about Jalen Ramsey. We're talking about Steve Smith. You played with Josh Norman. Josh Norman is an oddball.
He's an oddball.
Cornerback for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Josh Norman.
Different cat. Almost like Jair, right? Where he's comfortable moving to the beat of his own drum. He just had interests that were like different than most guys. Like he was into like horses, and like he would love going to like the horse country of Carolina and like riding horses and stuff. And like very few other guys appreciated that, which is totally wild.
Were you there when he and OBJ had the whole?
Yeah.
You were on the team?
I was on that team. Yeah, I was at New York Giants. I was on the team.
So what, they had a fight, a little scuffle?
The whole game, they were
going at it.
Yeah.
It was unreal. It was one of the most wild games I ever watched.
It was wild. Yep, I was on that team. And it was the game where like that gif of Cam where he's like holding his pads. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yep, he's nodding. That was part of that game. I mean, it was like right there. Because I'm kind of hovering by the offense as I'm ready to go on the field. And I was probably like further from you and me, Max, but I was probably 15 feet from him when he did that.
We need more story time with Bradley
Norman.
Bradley Norman, Wisconsin, famous Wisconsin punter. And then Bradley Norman drafted in the 6th round to the Carolina Panthers in the NFL.
One other this was a clash of titans, of personality titans. So Josh Norman, very first training camp, we're rookies. And when you're a rookie, this is why I give a lot of grace to these rookies on the Panthers, because, I mean, the world is just moving so fast that you're on your own truly for the first time. It feels different. It's professional. It's big. But Josh Norman shows up, 5th round draft pick. A ton of swag, a ton of bravado, and he is on like kind of scout team number 2 against the first team offense. And he wants to go up against Steve Smith. And he is getting too handsy, too physical with Steve Smith.
Oh.
And you can tell the tension rising in practice because they're going at one another. And Steve Smith is like beyond established at this point, right? Alpha on the team. And so eventually they get into a fight. Steve Smith and Josh Norman.
Who won?
Come on.
Steve Smith put the paws on him.
Come on, Steve.
He put the paws on him.
And I'm going to use a word that rhymes with the word that Steve used. But all I could hear Steve saying was, because they got into it, they had to be separated, the whole thing. Steve kept on saying over and over, Google me, snitch, Google me. You best Google me before you do that. And that's all I heard. And like, because Steve was, because he punched a teammate a couple of years before and like knocked him out basically. So he was just telling him like, you best know who you're messing with. And I was like, I have officially arrived in the NFL. I am witnessing Steve Smith.
Brad was just watching.
Exactly, from afar. Yeah.
Oh, good times. Good times. Well, I mean, that was Bradley Norman.
Detour.
Well, Bradley Norman has a lot of great stories because he played NFL. I'm Kyle Waltz. I'm just a fan of the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're going to have Rob Demoski next, and he's more than a fan. He is right there in the thick of it. He talked to Matt LaFleur. He's talked to Jair Alexander. We're going to find out the latest from the Green Bay Packers locker room as Packers reporter Rob Demoski joins us next here on KBN on ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
Hey, Nasby.
What have I done that's hating today?
Jeez.
You are not a new man. I thought you were a new man today.
I'm telling you, I was good. I ate my little donut holes from Jacobson Orchard, so I was feeling good. I had a steak for lunch. I was all good.
Steak for lunch?
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Hey, it's Gary Olson here for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape? Or maybe you want to impress a client? No matter the season, rain, snow, or shine, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is open for you. A top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play legendary courses. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center simulators, entertainment, and best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer all year round. Just $35 an hour gets you a round and puts that summer feel back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service.
It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey.
Riding with you every mile since 1977.
The Boucher Group has exciting news to share with you.
We've expanded to better serve our community.
Introducing Nissan Lake Country, the newest addition to our family.
Step into our showroom and discover our exceptional selection of brand new Nissans.
We're also stocked with the best pre-owned options in the market.
And as we expand, we're not just growing our inventory, we're also growing our team.
So join a team that values your skills and celebrates your success.
Visit us online or in-store today and view our current job listings at bouchercareers.com.
Tito's handmade vodka is so good and smooth, you can mix it with anything. Now, hear us out. If your usual brunch cocktail sounds like a Tito's Bloody Mary stacked with garnishes is more like Tito's. Sounds pretty good. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta here for St. Kate the Arts Hotel. If you're looking to start the weekend right, head to Bubbles and Brunch at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Every weekend from 9 to 1 in Giggly Champagne and Wine Bar, this brunch is anything but basic. The atmosphere is set with a local DJ spinning music to set the mood, while the hotel's acclaimed culinary team offers up a menu of elevated breakfast dishes. Add to the fun with endless mimosas. Experience a brunch that is anything but basic at Giggly Champagne and Wine Bar inside St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Reservations available online. Learn more by visiting stkatearts.com.
Are you ready to start a meaningful career in healthcare? Are you looking for a job that fits your work-life balance? Become a certified direct care professional today and make life better for older adults or people with a disability. WIS Caregiver Careers makes it easy with free online training plus earn a $500 bonus. See your name on Wisconsin's Certified Direct Care Registry. Sign up today at wiscaregivercdcp.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Want even more fantasy action? Boom! Here's Pick 6, a brand new fantasy app from DraftKings, a leader in daily fantasy sports. New customers get up to $50 back in Pick 6 credits if your first pick set loses. Getting started is simple. Select a player and choose if he's going to have more or less of a stat. Track your lineup and compete against others for a shot at huge cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and get started with code WKTI. New customers can get up to $50 back in the Pick 6 credit even if your first pick loses. Only on DraftKings Pick 6 with code WKTI. The crown is yours. One offer per first-time DraftKings product customer. First qualifying pick set winnings, less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $50 equal to amount of negative number. Issued with non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits, valid for Pick 6 use only. Expire after 1 year. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus. Valid only where DraftKings Pick 6 operates. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
It is KBN here on ESPN Wisconsin. He's Brad Nortman, longtime NFL punter.
I like the sounds of that.
Who watched Josh Norman and Steve Smith get into a fist fight at practice during his rookie year.
And trust me, I spectated from a far distance.
I'm sure you did. All them hands flying. I'm Kyle Wallace. No Ben, he's still on vacation because he wants to just, I guess enjoy the holidays as he gets ready for a life-changing moment coming up with his baby. But now we're being joined by Rob Demoski, NFL reporter at ESPN, who covers the Green Bay Packers. Rob, how you doing today?
I'm good, Kyle. Who did Josh Norman fight at practice?
So my rookie year, Josh Norman, also my draft class, he was the 5th round draft class. 5th round, I was 6th round. He fought Steve Smith. It's almost like a prison type of thing where it's like I'm gonna go after the biggest dude and try to gain some respect.
Was Steve Smith Steve Smith then? Was he?
Oh yeah.
Guy?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He was the guy. He was the clear-cut alpha. All I remember is Steve needing to be ripped away from Josh, and Steve won the fight. Let's be honest. And I'm going to use a different word.
Was this a training camp fight or during the season?
Training camp fight. Fight. Yeah. And those come and go. Steve kept on saying over and over, with maybe more colorful language, Google me and find out, because a couple of years earlier he obviously punched a teammate and I think broke his jaw. So not the guy you want to mess with, Rob.
So is this? Did we get it, Kyle? Did you bring that up because of like defensive backs that have caused problems and have gotten suspended? Is this a Jair Alexander segue?
Well, basically, yesterday we talked about the different players that he played with, but he didn't mention that he played with Josh Norman. We're like, wow, that's a great comparison to Jair Alexander.
Yeah, admittedly, I focused on Jalen Ramsey, and all these guys are a little bit different in their own ways, right? Because Josh was maybe a little bit more like Jair, where he just had like different interests and a different way to conduct themselves, and maybe just thinking on a different level. No, not quite like Jair does. Yeah. And Jalen is just a little bit more bravado and brash.
Did you guys? Have you ever heard the Ahmad Carroll Joey Thomas story?
No. Ahmad Carroll. I want to hear about this.
Please.
So Ahmad Carroll was the first round pick in, I can't even remember what year that was.
Was it 03, 04?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It might have been 04. And Joey Thomas was either the second or third round pick, both corners. Okay. And so this was during the season, which is why I asked about the Josh Norman thing. Because you see fights in training camp all the time. You don't see fights during the season, and not especially how this one happened. So there are a few games into the season, and Ahmad Carroll was getting burned like
usual, or holding somebody.
For real, holding.
And so what apparently Joey Thomas wasn't playing, and they were watching film on like a Wednesday, and Joey Thomas in the back of the meeting room is basically laughing every time they put film up of Ahmad Carroll getting beat, and Ahmad Carroll didn't like it. And Joey Thomas said, the only reason you're playing is because you're the first-round pick, and Ahmad Carroll sucker punched him in the meeting room.
Oh, wow.
And I broke the story. It was one of the first big stories I had ever broken as a reporter on the Packers beat, because I knew somebody who knew Joey Thomas, and I had heard the story secondhand, and I called Joey Thomas's people, and sure enough, they confirmed it. And I was like, it was one of those stories where I was like, I didn't see it happen, so I'm relying on other people being truthful with me. And back then there was really no internet, so you wrote a story, it was in the newspaper, and you kind of had to wait another day for it to get any reaction. And so, of course, I was a little worried that Mike Sherman or whoever was going to be up at the podium that next day was going to deny it and try to discount my story. And sure enough, Mike Sherman, he didn't. He got up there and he goes, "Yep, it happened." And Ahmad Carroll's been disciplined. I don't think he was suspended. And the reason I bring it up is because I just can't think of a player that I've covered in 25 years who's been suspended during the season by the team that wasn't for, PEDs or a legal issue. I just can't. This is the first time I think I've ever seen anything like this.
Yeah, Rob, the only time I had a teammate suspended was Greg Hardy, and those were some severe legal off the field issues, right? Yeah. So this is rare, and it's uncommon for it to be in such a strange way. So I'll just put it out there. Do you think the punishment fits the crime?
I do. The thing that I kind of thought something might be in the works, and I realized how mad they were at him on Sunday, because I think we've talked about this before, but in the press box, all the Packers front office people sit right behind the media. So Goody is back there, all the scouts, Mark Murphy, the PR staff, and you could hear them. It's quiet in there, so they try to whisper, but we can hear some of it, and you can hear some muttering in the background going, "What in the world is Jair Alexander doing going out there? He's not a captain." You could just tell how angry the front office people were as this was happening. And then, people think he got suspended because he botched the coin toss call. No, he got suspended because he decided to make himself a captain and go rogue and go out there without, permission. And it's disrespectful to the guys who were captains. It's disrespectful to the authority that the coaches have by naming captains each week. And when I heard those guys, and I couldn't tell, I don't want to turn around, I couldn't tell if it was Goody or Murphy or just, they could have even been some PR staff people, but you could tell that they were bothered by this, and they weren't really hiding. They weren't going out of their way to hide it necessarily.
Rob, that's what happens when you become fed up with somebody's behavior. When it's I think yesterday Matt LaFleur even said, I know you retweeted it from your re-exited. I don't even know what it's even called nowadays, but he retweeted it, and Matt LaFleur, it sounds like he said, "I'll just say this: it's never one thing. Tough decision, correct, especially where we are right now in the season. But there's standards we're all held accountable for. I think Ja is going to be here for a long time. But do you really believe Ja's going to be here for a long time? Because it just seems like it's something after another, after another, after another."
You're right. And the thing you have to remember, too, Kyle, is that I think this, if you look at it all together, this really kind of started in the off-season program. Because remember when he skipped the voluntary stuff, which is fine. You can skip the voluntary stuff. But he had a $700,000 workout bonus that he just walked away from. As one agent told me today, man, he cost his agent $21,000, which, for an agent, probably, 3% of a $700,000 is not nothing to an agent.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
But it was so odd that when he showed up for the mandatory mini camp and he explained why he wasn't there, and he said, you know what, I like to be here when other people aren't. He stayed here right after the season when everybody else goes home. He was going to stay in the summer before training camp. Like, it's almost like he was doing it just to be different and just to be difficult. And there was really no good reason for it. And as you mentioned, it's just one thing after another. So, when Matt LaFleur said, it's never one thing, that obviously, leads you to understand that there's more to it than just him walking out there and making himself a captain. I did try to ask LaFleur, and he wanted no part of it at this point. I asked, I said, have you guys tried to find him for other things before? And he just wouldn't get into it. And sometimes he asks questions that you already know the answer to. And I was pretty sure that I knew that he had been fined for things, around the building or just missteps that he had made. And look, players get fined all the time. You're 5 minutes late to a meeting, you get fined. You're, you don't show up to practice, but by the time stretching starts, you're fine. It's not that unusual, but I was trying to see if I could get him to admit that they have tried other things from a disciplinary action, and he was not going there.
Rob, how's the response been by his teammates in the locker room? Does this punishment come down and it's well received? Are guys upset? What are his teammates thinking at this point?
The couple of guys that I talked to yesterday about it basically said the same thing, and it was like, it's just Jair being Jair. Like that makes it okay, I guess, in their minds. And it's okay. You can put up with things, Brad, and I'm sure you played with guys like this. They'll put up with things when a player's playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
You'll deal with a lot of other, of the BS. But when you're not playing well, it's harder to accept some of the nonsense. And I got to be honest, I think we talked about this before. I think that's part of the reason they were okay moving on from Aaron Rodgers. All the stuff that you had to deal with was worth it when he was 13-3 and winning MVPs. But as soon as you go 8-9 like they did last year, it's not so easy and it's not so palatable to put up with anymore.
The bad outweighs the good. We're speaking with Rob Demovsky, ESPN NFL Nation Packers reporter here on KBN. And Brad, you want to interject with a hear Brad out question?
Yeah, Rob, we did hear Brad out yesterday, and I do not want to deprive you a chance to respond, as you always do on Wednesday. So I'll keep it short. My take was the New Year's Eve celebration is severely overrated. I could go into a lot of details why I believe that, but I want to give you the floor. Do you agree that New Year's Eve is overrated?
I agree that it is now at our age, and I know I'm older than you guys, but we're still, you and I are probably more of the same era than Kyle is. But when
me and Brad are the same age.
Really?
I'm that immature, my goodness, or is it my skin?
Yeah.
Which one is it? Please say it's my skin.
No, your bubbly approach, Kyle. You just seem you seem like a cockeyed optimist, and Brad and I.
Cockeyed? Golly, now I'm ugly and cockeyed?
I think it's a compliment, Kyle.
Okay.
I'm the crotchety old soul.
Yeah, no, I've never heard being cockeyed be a compliment.
No, Brad and I are more, I think, a little bit more jaded. It used to be great, like when you were in high school and college, and you were going out on New Year's Eve, and it was, when midnight struck, what was going to happen, and that was when you were single and that kind of thing. It was a lot of fun. Now, not so much. So I'm with you on that, Brad. I think New Year's Eve is at this point in our lives, in my life, overrated.
It's well said.
However,
I don't like taking in the New Year. However,
I have had some great nights out on December 30th that were more fun than December 31st.
Interesting take.
Wait, why is that?
I don't know. I just think because if you're going out the night before New Year's, you're probably, you're going out for a reason. You're going out to have fun. You're not just going out because it's New Year's. It's not amateur night, Like if the amateurs are just going to save it up for the one night, and the people that really know how to have a good time can have a good time on any day of the year.
I'm gonna give that a try.
Right there.
I'm gonna give December 30th a try. That's a
2
Saturday,
days.
so I'm gonna give it a try. Rob, before we let you go, I have one last question here. Who's more likely to be part of the Packers organization next year, Joe Barry or Jair Alexander?
I think Jair, and look, I think we know Joe Barry's days are numbered. It's just a matter of how quickly after the season that they make the change. And I thought, when the suspension came down yesterday that Jair, that this was going to be the final straw and he was going to be done. But I talked to a few people in the organization who had knowledge of the way the meeting went yesterday, and both of them said that if Jair really does stick to what they talked about in the meeting and kind of gets in line a little bit, that they think he still has a future in the organization. And those people came out of that meeting, or at least the people that I talked to heard from the people that came out of the meeting, feeling much more optimistic and feeling better about where the relationship was. And I wonder if that's because maybe Jair went into it, basically saying, I want Joe Barry fired or I'm gone. And maybe they told him, hey, don't, just be patient. We're going to make a change.
Maybe.
I don't know if it was as simple as that, but
this can't be their first conversation. This can't be the first time they talk to him.
No, but I do think that if the way it was characterized to me is if Jair is the Jair who was in that meeting and acted that way, then he still has a future with the Packers. But, let's see what he does in the offseason. Let's see if he shows up for things. And, let's see what kind of teammate he is when he comes back next week and all those kinds of things.
Thank you so much. Rob Demoski joining us, ESPN NFL Nation Packers reporter. We'll talk to you on Sunday on Green Bay Game Day here on ESPN Wisconsin as well.
All right, sounds good, Kyle. Enjoy your December 30th night out.
I'll let you know how it goes on Sunday. Thank you so much, Rob.
All right.
Thanks for
having me. Seeing you. Happy New Year, Brad.
Thank you.
Rob Demoski, ESPN NFL Nation Packers reporter. He just gave me he gave us a lot of insight there with the Jair situation, and then also kind of taught us about December 30th.
Man, how about that? That's an absolute curveball. I might have to try that. That sounds more appealing than me than the 31st. I'm not going to lie.
I do like amateur night. When I was younger, amateur night was fun, man. That's when all the fun folks were out on amateur night. That's what I like. That's why he thought I was probably younger than you all.
I would love to know what KBN's thought is. I mean, we have kind of let nuggets saying that we played against each other in high school, things like that. I would love if KBN Nation could chime in and they thought that I was older than you. That is hilarious. We're the same age. I don't know if that's a compliment or a diss. I don't know how I should take that.
I took it as disrespect to me because first and foremost, that means I probably sound wild and immature. So that says a lot about what people think about my personality. And then on top of that, he said I was cockeyed. Never in my life. Listen, we used to make fun of people who were cockeyed. That was not a compliment. So he said I'm cockeyed. I don't know how I got glasses. I'm 4 eyes, but I don't know how cockeyed is a compliment.
I want to Google cockeyed and figure out what that means.
If you look, you've never heard cockeyed?
No, I've heard it, but I've only heard
Google
it.
Google it. Listen, KBN Nation right now. Google cockeyed images.
Okay, I'm gonna give you there's multiple definitions.
Okay, let me hear these cockeyed.
You know how they give bullet points? Here's what cockeyed means. It's an adjective. It means crooked or askew.
Okay.
Not level. Okay. It could also mean absurd and impractical.
Okay, yeah.
Finally, it could mean drunk and cross-eyed.
Okay.
Would you consider that as describing Kyle Wallace? Cockeyed.
I hope not.
Askew, not level, impractical, absurd.
This is what Rob thinks of me. He said it in such a friendly way. Rob doesn't like me. My goodness, that's what it comes down to. Rob doesn't like me.
Maybe it's one of those things like it's a term of endearment, like you say to buddies, like, hey, what's up, loser?
Listen, Brad, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I used to call people cockeyed, and we make jokes about that. And if anybody's cockeyed, listen, they have surgery for it. You can get it fixed. But here's my thing: it's that's not a compliment. So
yeah,
thanks.
I guess Rob.
If I had to guess, I think he meant to say wide-eyed, which means innocent, looking at the world in this big, beautiful way.
He didn't correct himself. Listen, that is a man who's been reporting on the Green Bay Packers since 1997. He has a great way with his words as a reporter and a journalist.
Is robust.
Yes,
but maybe I'll make mistakes. I think he referred to him and I both as salty. Did I get a salty in there? Because I called myself crotchety, but I think he said like a salty. Old man. I mean,
I don't know.
There's a lot to decompress.
Rob really just offended both of us. My goodness. KBN Nation, we'll be back here. We're going to be talking Jair Alexander a little bit more, the Green Bay Packers, and also talk about Herb Cole, the former owner of the Milwaukee Bucks and senator of Wisconsin who passed away yesterday. Keep it locked. You're listening to KBN on ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN.
Is steak appropriate for lunch? And then your thoughts on Jordan Love?
Oh, absolutely. Steak's appropriate, especially if you cut it up, put it on salad. Woo! Steak's good anytime.
Those all meat, baby. No salad for me today.
Yeah, you like that.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. He's the most interesting man in sports radio.
Well, should I have a chip on my shoulder that I'm not making as much money as Skip Bayless?
In his mind, anyway. The Homer Hour with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
When you say they gave it away, what's at the top of your list?
Get them off the field on third down.
The Homer Hour with Homer. Weekdays from 5 to 6. Right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on YouTube.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust. For most men, there's nothing we want more than to stay young, fit, and active, which is why our New Year's resolutions usually include some form of getting in shape. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles in Germantown are here to help you reach those goals. Testosterone optimization helps with muscle mass and tone, as well as weight management and having the energy and endurance to get in the gym. Forward Healthy Lifestyles also offers weight loss programs like semaglutide to help combat those endless holiday temptations. Visit forwardhealthylifestyles.com for a free consultation.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At every meeting, at every new beginning, at every celebration, we make better happen. At Cousin Subs, better is more than just a word. It's a promise we serve at every party. Our customizable party boxes, box lunches, party chips, and dozen cookie boxes offer the options you need to please any crowd. Whatever the occasion, we will never settle for being just good enough. Order on our mobile app or online at cousinsubs.com. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Watch your team compete on big screens in Team McSee's Sports Bar or the Sports Illustrated Sportsbook Room. Yes, you can bet the spread, parlays, futures, and more with Sports Illustrated Sportsbook at Island Resort and Casino. Your place to bet on sports. To book a game-time getaway at the Island, call 800-682-6040 today.
Ho, 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 I need a window.
Baby, it's cold outside.
So where do I go? Ho, ho.
Come on, Santa. Go to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Now is the time to replace your leaky windows and doors. You and Mrs. Claus can get your new windows while putting no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 18 months. Unwrap this gift now, but pay for it later.
More jingle that stays in my pocket.
That's right, Santa. Plus, our elves install year-round and in as little as 1 day. Pella offers lines in luxurious wood to fiberglass and vinyl.
Why not make a New Year's resolution today?
That's the spirit, Santa.
Pella now, pay later.
Absolutely. Put no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 18 months. But you have to hurry. Offer ends December 31st. Schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 12/31/2023.
Truth, reason, and tolerance shaped our U.S. Constitution, but those building blocks of democracy are under attack. Big tech social media splits us apart, hurts our children, and causes violence and terror in our communities. Be a part of the change. Go to counterhate.com to learn more.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Do you want more fantasy action? then DraftKings has a solution for you. Because your fantasy football season is coming to an end, it doesn't mean that your interest in fantasy sports needs to go down. That's because here is Pick 6. It's a brand new fantasy app from DraftKings. Pick 6. DraftKings is already a leader in daily fantasy sports. New customers get up to $50 back in Pick 6 credits if your first pick set loses. Getting started is simple. Simply select a player and choose if he's going to have more or less of a certain stat. Track your lineup and compete against others for huge cash prizes. Like tonight, if you think Joe Flacco is going to go off or Breece Hall. Breece Hall went off against my team last night. If you had the over, you would have been able to cash in on Pick 6. Here's what you got to do. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and get started with code WKTI. That's code WKTI. New customers can get up to $50 back in Pick 6 credits if your first pick set loses. Only on DraftKings, Pick 6 with code WKTI. The crown is yours. One offer per first-time DraftKings product customer. First qualifying pick set winnings, less entry fees must generate a negative number. Max reward up to $50 per, equal to the amount of the negative number. Issued in non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits. Valid with Pick 6 use only. Expire after 1 year. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus. Valid only where DraftKings Pick 6 operates. Void or prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com.
Former Milwaukee Bucks owner Herb Cole and U.S. Senator from Wisconsin passed away yesterday. And we just want to take some time just to reminisce and talk about Herb Cole, because for us as kids, Herb Cole, I believe he bought the Bucks in like the 80s. And to me, the impact that he had on my life was tremendous, because I remember back in like 03 or 02, they were talking about, it might have been a little bit after that, but Michael Jordan potentially buying the Milwaukee Bucks. Before he bought the Charlotte Hornets, it was he might buy the Milwaukee Bucks. And I was excited about, oh my goodness, MJ might buy the Bucks. But the story and rumor out there was that Herb Cole decided not to sell the team to Michael Jordan because of the fact he wanted them to stay local. And so the fact that somebody was so committed, and I know you're going to talk a little bit about this as well, to the city of Milwaukee and the state of Wisconsin, and for me, my upbringing, I loved the Milwaukee Bucks, meant so much to me. And so I'm just thankful that Herb Cole, at the time, though he wasn't the greatest owner for the Bucks to bring us championships, he was a good person that kept this team here, which is important to me because the Bucks mean everything to me as a fan.
That's exactly right, Kyle. As I think about our country in general, this is one nation under God together, but man, oh man, the different areas of the country, we value different things. For instance, West Coast, they value innovation, flash, and beauty, at least on the outside. The South is more of like charm, hospitality, and kind of a slower pace. That's what the South values. East Coast, production, grit, fast pace, like win at all costs. But the Midwest, particularly Wisconsin, values humility, loyalty, and authenticity. And those are words that I would use to describe Senator Herb Cole and what he did embodying those things as a philanthropic donor and as an owner of the Bucks. It can't be understated. All the joy that we've experienced as Bucks fans this last decade, that wouldn't have been the case if he just would have followed the most attractive offer. But he did what he could to keep the team local. He took a discount on it. He put his own money toward Pfizer Forum, and he basically made it and was able to sell the team at a discount to make sure the Bucks stay here. He made massive donations to the University of Wisconsin, the Cole Center, right? I mean, it's all that beautiful facility. So he embodied that loyalty that says, you know what, I'm going to put the people and the sports fans of Wisconsin first because I know how important it is. Look at what it's done to Milwaukee in general, right? Deer District, and it almost embodies Milwaukee's trajectory as a city, right? And the state in total, because it's been on the rise, and he knew that sports teams and important moments like what the Bucks were able to do winning the NBA championship, it matters to the city. So he was loyal, he was authentic that way. And I know Jen, Gabe, and Chewy were talking about should the Bucks put up a statue of Herb Cole. And someone on Twitter found an article written about him where they brought that up. He basically said, nah, I'm not into statues.
Didn't want it.
Didn't want it. I don't want a statue. That's humility. So very, very cool. Rest in peace and God bless Senator Herb Cole. And thank you for your loyalty, authenticity, and humility.
Absolutely. Serving the people. And that's something that I appreciate. Being from Milwaukee myself, him being from Milwaukee and caring about this community is something that was so important to me. And then even just talking about, there was a story that I heard about the fact that as a U.S. Senator, He never really took his full salary. He took $10,000 a year and donated the rest of his salary. I mean, talking about walking the walk, talking the talk, he actually put his money where his mouth was, not only when he did that, but when he decided to not only just sell the team, but sell the team to somebody who wanted to keep it local, but then also take $100 million of what he made from that and put it towards building a new arena in Milwaukee to make sure that this Bucks team stayed here and we had the best facilities in the NBA. That's what you said. You said loyalty, humble, humility, and all those different things. He embodied that. And we should be thankful that he was the owner, because a lot of people look at the Oakland A's right now. They moved. Look at the Oakland Raiders. They move. Look at the Seattle Supersonics. No longer in existence. They're in Oklahoma City. If it wasn't for Herb Cole standing on it and trying to do everything he can to keep the team here, we may not have Milwaukee Bucks. We may not have Giannis. Heck, we may not have the 3rd Street Market Hall.
It's unbelievable to see what the impact of that was, and the ripple effect of it is impossible to value, to be quite honest. And so much of sports, and I've seen it firsthand from even playing in college and playing in the NFL, you see so much of it. Yes, it's driven by winning and losing, but the underscore of it is always dollars and cents, right? It's always money that is the great equalizer and the thing that really is the engine behind a lot of transactions and how these leagues operate. But Herb Cole took his resource and he was generous with it, and he was willing to take less of a deal. He could have gotten a better deal, but for sure, for someone says, you know what, I'm going to scalpel the Bucks out of here, we're going to put them in a different city. He could have got more than the $550 million that he got from the ownership group, and then didn't have to put the $100 million toward it. But he said, you know what, I'm going to take the financial hit, I'm going to take the financial discount because it's so important. Again, showing the loyalty, the humility, and it's just hard to put a value on exactly what he did, and it'll come for decades to come.
800-990-3776. This is KBN, and when we come back on the other side, we are going to talk about Joe Barry. Can he save his job? Maybe. You'll find out more what Brad got to say. You're listening to KBN here on ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Kyle Bruston-Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
Jordan Love is the first black starting quarterback for real since, who was it, Lynn Dickey?
Lynn Dickey. Lynn Dickey was no damn black.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy here. Don't let the chilly weather end your golf season. X Golf and American Family Field is open all year round. They've got innovative and accurate golf simulators, all overlooking left field at AmFam Field. Enjoy daily lunch specials or have an outing with your friends and take in X Golf's full bar and food menus. X Golf AmFam Field is even offering golf lessons by a PGA pro. Everyone is welcome at X Golf AmFam. Book your sim today, xgolfamfamfield.com. I'll see you out there.
Woo! I am thirsty today. Definitely going to need a cold one. There's the one. Time to grab another beer from Go Brewing Company this week. And the holidays are upon us, which means more people are going to give Dry January a shot. Our guy, Matt Stanky, is back again to give us some great NA options from Go Brewing Company to enjoy.
Sunshine State, our tropical IPA, it has a wonderful balance of peach and mango. It pours with a golden haze, very, very easy to drink with just a subtle hop bitterness. And then for a traditional IPA drinker, not just another Story double IPA, it's just a hop bomb. It comes off the glass. You get all those beautiful hop characteristics. Sunbeam Pilsner, a traditional, easy-to-drink German Pilsner that pairs wonderfully with food. And then we actually have a non-gluten brand called Cali for Freedom. We use buckwheat, millet, and oats, so we have no fermented barley in there. Absolutely a game changer.
Thanks again to Matt for joining us and giving us all sorts of NA options around this time of year. Remember, folks, whether it's a holiday party or just to lighten the mood, the fridge should always be stocked.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and as a community bank, we sincerely appreciate our customer loyalty. Over nearly 90 years, we've done all we can to return the favor. Great Midwest Bank offers flexible solutions that bigger banks and credit unions simply can't, because our entire team is right here in the community. We love helping our neighbors when we're at work and then catching up over the weekend. Visit us at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
It is KBN on ESPN Wisconsin. He's Brad Nortman, longtime NFL punter. I'm Kyle Wallace. No Ben Bruss today as he is on assignment, laying down, maxing and relaxing, living his best life while we're out here for the people.
Grinding.
Yeah, me and Brad are men of the people here on KBN. But you want to know somebody who is not a man of the people?
Who's that?
That is Joe Barry. Joe Barry is not a man of the people. You know why Joe Barry isn't a man of the people?
Why is that?
Because the man of the people will put the betterment of the organization above himself. If I knew I sucked at this job or anything I did in life, I wouldn't, I would say, listen, hey, y'all, you know what? I'm not helping. I'm hurting. Let me step to the side and let somebody else do this. But for some reason, and I know why, because it's money, Joe Barry is not going to do that. And so what we want to talk about now is that, is there a chance that I could be wrong about Joe Barry? Could Joe Barry actually find a way to prove me wrong and say, listen, watch what I do now? Brad, do you believe if Joe Barry is able to pitch a shutout against the Minnesota Vikings this weekend, some pull off a miracle, and Jaron Hall's not the NFC Player of the Week, if he's able to slow down and shut down Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears, and then have an impressive outing in the playoffs, is there a pathway of Joe Barry to be the defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers come 2024?
I'm going to preface this by saying I don't think this happens, okay? I do believe the Packers have a new defensive coordinator in 2024. However, if he can pitch a shutout against the Vikings and the Bears, and the Packers make the playoffs, I don't think it's enough. I think he still gets fired. However, if the defense does that without Jair against Minnesota, against the Bears, Packers make the playoffs, they go on the road and they play Philadelphia. And the Packers get a playoff win primarily because of the defense. And the defense holds Philadelphia to, let's say, 10 points, something like that. And the offense grinds it out to 17, 20. And they get a playoff win, and you look at it and you attribute it to the defense. Then I start to pause. Anything short of that, which is a long shot to happen in the first place, anything short of that, he's gone. For sure, 100%. But if he's able to pull that off, think about that. Must-win games.
Come on.
Pull off shutouts, hold on, and win a playoff game against the defending NFC champion.
Okay.
And they win because of that. Don't you think that combined with Matt LaFleur's loyalty and playing with guys that you're down Jair, you're going through, don't you think that a passing thought might go through Matt LaFleur's head and say, you know what? Maybe this is the guy. It would go from me being 100% certain he's gone to being like 95% certain.
I wish I could be so bad at my job that people try to find these rationalizations of how I could potentially keep my job. I wish I had that privilege in my life, but obviously I am no Joe Barry. I don't, obviously, based off what Rob Parker says, I'm not married, but I'm not marrying anybody that's an NFL coach. And also, when it comes to this, obviously, I'm just not like Joe Barry that has the benefit of the doubt. This is ludicrous. This is nonsense. There should be no way in the world. And what makes me more upset is I know Max feels the exact same way, that it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Green Bay Packers, if they are successful in shutout and so have a great defensive performance against the Minnesota Vikings, against the Chicago Bears, and they somehow compete and have a great defensive performance against whoever, like the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round of the playoffs, that may be enough to have him keep his job. How is that not insanity?
How is that? How is your take not insanity? If they win a playoff game at Philadelphia and hold the Eagles like 13 points, you really think they're still going to fire Joe Barry?
It's like a girl who cheats on you or a partner who cheats on you over and over, but then you keep her and she has a good 3 weeks. You're going, she's still a cheater, and Joe Barry's still a trash defensive coordinator.
The question isn't, would we fire Joe Barry? We would all fire Joe Barry. The question is, would he get fired?
Matt LaFleur.
If they
that's
beat
Matt LaFleur's-
Philadelphia in the playoffs and have a good defensive performance, there is a 0% chance that he gets fired.
No. Now you tripping.
Zero.
Now you tripping right now. You just right now my blood pressure
And
is
I don't
pretty.
want that to happen.
It's sitting
I
decent,
wanna win,
and
but-
my anxiety is okay. But all you doing before I want to ring in and bring in the new year in a good way. And you know what would be a bad way is that I get to some point in mid-January after the Packers hopefully we win in the playoffs, but I'm realistic. The Packers lose in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden, what happens? After they lose, we go 1 day, hear nothing. Go 2 days, hear nothing. Go 3 days, hear nothing. Go 4 days, and all of a sudden, they're retaining Joe Barry. I would lose my freaking mind. I would go crazy and loco and pull my dreads out. I wouldn't be a dreadhead anymore because of Joe Barry and Matt LaFleur.
Even after the situation we just described, if it was that kind of run and that kind of clutch performances, think about put yourself in Matt LaFleur's shoes.
No, listen. All right, listen.
He would be like,
standing up.
listen, this is I knew we had it in us. Finally, the team matured. I can see this happening.
800-990-3776. If the Green Bay Packers defense all of a sudden shows up and shuts out their next two opponents and somehow step up in the playoff game to get the Packers a playoff victory or just perform well, do you believe Joe Barry can still be the defensive coordinator here? That's what we want to know. 800-990-3776. You guys are crazy. Here's the thing. Listen, I got fooled. A couple weeks ago, I sat here on the radio and I sounded stupid. I hate sounding stupid. I hate looking cockeyed. And obviously, I'm doing both on this show because let me tell you this. A couple weeks ago, the question was asked to us, is Joe Barry an average or below average or above average defensive coordinator? And I said, he's below average, but, he's not the worst in the NFL. And let me tell you this. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, I look like a dummy. I look like an idiot. I should have said he's awful, he's terrible. So I am not, what they say, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. I'll be danged if I get fooled a third time. There is nothing, literally, nothing. We can go on a Super Bowl run, and I would still want to fire Joe Barry.
So there's literally nothing they can do.
No, it's not a lie.
Come on. There's nothing.
They went to the Super Bowl. You want to fire him?
You know how much stress we've gone through with Joe Barry? Do you know how upset it has been having to watch the Giants, Tommy DeVito, lead a team downfield?
If they went to the Super Bowl.
Do you think?
Stop.
This team. It would be a miracle.
And Max and I aren't even saying that if we would retain him if we were the head coaches, but put yourself in Matt LaFleur's shoes. We know how Matt LaFleur operates. It took him 2 weeks to fire that special teams coach that botched the game with those special teams gaffes when they lost in the playoffs. 2 weeks it took him. That should have been after the game type of decision.
I swear for goodness, if Matt LaFleur, regardless of what happens,
he's loyal to a fault, literally.
Joe Barry's locker better be cleaned out 48 hours. He got 48 hours to have his locker cleaned out. If I do not see something on Twitter or X, you know what I'm doing? I'm grabbing a kit. I'm driving up to the Tundra Trio, and I'm making a sign, and I'm going to pick it outside of Lambeau from the Tundra Trio that says, fire Joe Barry now. What is this insanity that we're having this conversation that we can even, that this could be a possibility? Again, and I know it's being dramatic saying Super Bowl. But listen, fellas, if the Packers make the Super Bowl, regardless of how well the defense plays, we keep him next year, and we're having the same conversations.
What do you mean? You went to the Super Bowl.
Then you know he's a Super Bowl caliber.
Super Bowl.
No, it means Jesus came down on his birthday or whatever his birthday was a couple of days. I guess Jesus Christ's birthday on the 25th. That means Jesus came down and coached this team. That's what it had to be. Jesus Christ will have to come through his body and coach this team. That is the only way we're going to a Super Bowl. We have to fire Joe Barry at some point, and it should be 48 hours after the end of the season, regardless of how well this team. But I don't give a dang if they make a playoff run. He cannot be the defensive coordinator next year.
Look, I agree that he can't be, and I don't think he will be. I'm 100% certain, knowing what I know now, that he won't be. All I'm saying is, knowing Matt LaFleur, knowing that he's loyal to a fault, and I mean loyal to a fault, he might be the most loyal head coach in the NFL. I can't think of another one who's willing to stand up for his guys so much.
He's going to get fired.
I'm just saying.
His loyalty is going to get him fired. Don't let somebody else take food out your kid's mouth. And that's what he's going to do. I'll be dang.
I'm just saying, if you want to believe in something hard. Like you want to believe in a person, right? He wants to believe in Joe Barry. You start looking for evidence to support that. And that would be some strong evidence that I think Matt LaFleur would take a second guess. I don't think it would be a Monday fire. I'll say that much. I think he'd think about it for a second.
Let me calm down because I need somebody to calm me down here. And so Diana from McGuanago, really quickly, we're going to bring you on because you always seem to soothe my body with your positivity. Diana, you're on KBN. Can you say something positive?
Kyle, calm down.
Thank you.
You're going to give yourself a heart attack.
Thank you,
He
Diana.
needs to get rid of Joe Barry, though, because if he does have like a glimpse of hope, it ain't going to last very long.
Do you think there's any scenario, and I mean any scenario, that Joe Barry keeps his job?
No, I don't
scenario.
think so. LaFleur needs to stop being a freaking wuss and get rid of him.
Listen, I like that. Diana, thank
Diana,
you.
just shoot you straight.
Hey, we don't want no wusses around here.
We don't.
And we about to have somebody that's going to preach as well, and his name is Jason Wilde. He's Packers reporter. You can hear Jason Wilde on Wilde and Tausch on ESPN Wisconsin, 9 a.m. to noon weekdays. But we're going to find out what Jason has to say about this and so much more. Keep it locked. You're listening to KBN on ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN.
You also
That
say
knows how to-
chaos weird.
Chaos?
It's like there's like an os at the end.
Yeah,
Chaos.
you really
What did you
chaos. Like
Chaos.
It's chaos. It's
Chaos.
just like it's like chaos. Like
Chaos. Chaos.
Is
Okay.
it one syllable or two?
Chaos? It's
Two syllables.
Chaos. Let's try and make it
Chaos.
one syllable when you say it. How about
Chaos.
Be like
No.
chaos.
I'm going to do what I'm doing.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Well, we've got wet roads out there making for an interesting ride. You want to be extra careful if you're driving around today, but nothing major to slow you down as far as volume or any kind of incidents. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Morning rain and snow mix, afternoon rain with a high of 42. Then tonight, rain mix tapers off, mostly cloudy, a low of 37. Weather is brought to you by Adams Generators, the #1 rated Generac dealer in Wisconsin. Call for your free quote today at 262-944-2010 for power peace of mind, or visit adamspower.com/generators. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Loziga on 94.5 ESPN.
Yeah, they're football guys, but they don't shy away from the big topics of the day.
Good morning, Tausch. How are you? Old T's I'm not feeling 100%. Tummy ache?
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
No, I think with all that little stuff that's going around, and I'm going to grind.
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Put a smile on your face and put your hands together for the Houdinis of the hardwood, the human highlight reels that bring wow to the now, the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters. This isn't just basketball. This is where what just happened happens all the time. Don't miss the Harlem Globetrotters 2024 World Tour presented by Jersey Mike Subs at Fiserv Forum on December 31st. Go to harlemglobetrotters.com for tickets.
What's better than free? How about play free all year? This January at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in reward play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games to earn prize drawing entries. Then stop by each Thursday night in January to see if you're a winner. $400,000 in prizes is up for grabs. Over 40 winners each week. Yeah, free is for me. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Ho, ho, ho! I need a window.
Baby, it's cold outside.
So where do I go? Ho, ho.
Come on, Santa. Go to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Now is the time to replace your leaky windows and doors. You and Mrs. Claus can get your new windows while putting no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 18 months. Unwrap this gift now, but pay for it later.
More jingle that stays in my pocket.
That's right, Santa. Plus, our elves install year-round and in as little as 1 day. Pella offers lines in luxurious wood to fiberglass and vinyl.
Why not make a New Year's resolution today?
That's the spirit, Santa.
Hella no, pay later.
Absolutely. Put no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 18 months. but you have to hurry. Offer ends December 31st. Schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 12/31/2023.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're in the market for a full-size 8-passenger SUV, look no further than the Defender 130. And with the Defender 90, the 110, and this 130, there's luxury in the right size for everyone. And now is the best time to take advantage of a great offer like this.
For a limited time, get 3.9% special APR rate for up to 60 months on new 2023 Defenders at Land Rover Waukesha. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Tell me now, do you want it? 'Cause these dancing feet don't cry to the
It is KBN here on ESPN Wisconsin. Longtime NFL punter Bradley Nortman.
Nailed it.
Myself, Kyle Wallace. No Ben today. Ben is on assignment doing what he wants to do. But you know who is never going to miss out on anything? Packers or ESPN Wisconsin? That's Jason Wilde. And Jason Wilde joins us now on KBN. Jason, how you doing today?
The hell do you guys want?
That's it.
Oh, I love me some Jason Wilde.
The stern Jason Wilde. I like that version of Jason.
I'm making oatmeal right now in my at Lambeau Field in the microwave that my parents had when I was growing up. So this microwave has to be, I don't know, 40 years old at this point. Still runs great.
Man, they don't make them like that no more.
No, they don't.
They don't make them like they used to. What's your position on oatmeal? Pro oatmeal or
Jason?
Oh, you don't know this about Brad.
Does any talk of oatmeal on KBN come to mind for you? If not, let me fill you in.
I don't. I work during your show, so I don't get to listen.
You do what? You're not listening to our show?
He's got a story to tell you here.
Jason, you know me. I'm a pretty structured, regulatory type of guy, right?
Boring. Boring.
Boring.
There's a lot of shots fired at your character and personality. Not like negative, but like...
It's our Packer reporters today. Yeah. Jason, Rob called Kyle cockeyed today, and he called me salty. So, but he was saying we were both salty old guys.
I was highly offended because I don't know how I'm cockeyed, but it is what it is.
Anyway, that's
cockeyed optimist? You're a cockeyed optimist about the Packers?
That's what he called him. Is that a thing? That's a word? Because I looked up cockeyed.
I hate to be the guy that says this because Kyle helps me with hip hop music and other things that I'm not well versed in. So let me be the guy that helps you in old guy language.
Okay.
Cockeyed optimist is a term that old people use, like Rob and like me, that is basically you're kind of, I don't want to say naive, but you want to believe the best, and you want to always be optimistic even when you probably shouldn't be. And it sounds like maybe Rob thinks you shouldn't be as optimistic as you are, Kyle.
Well, okay. Thank you for explaining that, because at first I was offended because I thought I was cockeyed. Because growing up as a kid, for my generation, cockeyed means one eye looks left, the other one looks right, but it's all you just cross-eyed. And so I was very, very confused and concerned about that.
Jason, you're going to love this too. Rob also thought, Kyle and I are the same age, he thought that Kyle was significantly younger than me based on our on-air personas. Does that sound right? He thought that I was old and Kyle was young.
I would say, Brad, although I did call you boring just moments ago, and I stand by that.
Yeah, I'll accept it.
I would say you certainly have a more wise beyond your years demeanor. And that's the nicest way I can say that you're, I like to call Jesse America's oldest 30-year-old because he's 30 going on 60. And I think that it's, you're a little bit like that. You're so responsible. There's no, especially when you're juxtaposed with Ben Brust. I mean, let's be honest here.
Well, and one of my favorite parts of just that part of my personality, it almost makes Ben uncomfortable, which I love that. I love that.
That's very
it makes
true.
him uncomfortable. But anyway, just really quickly on oatmeal, because I will not forget that one. Jason, I eat oatmeal probably 28 of 30 days in a month. Like, it is my go-to breakfast. I usually make it the night before, overnight oats. I've got like 4 specific recipes I go to. And I've been talking about this. I actually brought it in for Kyle and Ben to try. I made them oatmeal.
It was cold.
It was cold oatmeal. I like overnight oats.
You heard Jason's microwave because he heated it up?
Yeah.
But it was cold oatmeal, Jason.
Yeah, I prefer it cold.
And it wasn't bad.
I'm not an overnight oats guy. I am a dump the packet into a bowl and then pour some milk in and then microwave it guy. But I am a huge oatmeal fan because I'm boring like Brad Norman.
You got it. I mean, I'm a huge pro oatmeal guy, Jason. I knew we were going to be in lockstep on that.
Protein fortified, to build those muscles that you like to show off.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what it builds.
I try to do that too, and you can really tell I'm bulking up just in the wrong way.
To conclude this oatmeal conversation and get more into Packers talk, here's the thing. We tried the oatmeal on air, and I raved about it. Raved about it so much. You know what Christmas present that my girlfriend got from her parents? Is a jar for overnight oats. So now she's going to be doing overnight oats because of Brad Norton. That's how serious it was.
I'm evangelizing the oatmeal world. We're going to get converts left and right.
Look at that.
It's basically the power rankings are the old guy from Quaker and then Brad Norton in terms of people who have influenced oatmeal over the years.
I'm honored to be in the same conversation as the oatmeal man.
Jason, we have to get into this Jair coin toss and being suspended for 1 week for conduct detrimental to the team with him missing the game against the Minnesota Vikings. And I just want to ask this question. Who's going to be here next year, Joe Barry or Jair? More likely.
I don't know, maybe neither one. It's certainly not ideal. Now, I would argue that you don't really know what you're getting with Jair if he plays, when he plays. So I'm not sure it's devastating that he won't be available, but man, you're going up against Justin Jefferson. You feel like in a game like that, Jair would be at his most motivated self. We saw him last year at Lambeau be part of a defense and obviously an integral part of a defense that held Justin Jefferson to one catch for 15 yards. So certainly you would love to have him available to you and not have committed conduct detrimental to the team, but that's not where we're living this week. I don't think Joe Barry is the defensive coordinator next year. I'm not sure, though, that this will be the life-changing turning point for Jair Alexander. And frankly, I haven't talked to Jair, so I think it's a little presumptuous to just take Matt LaFleur and Goody's word for it about how we're going to be better moving forward because of this. Because, I don't know, I don't think Brad Nortman, hard for me to imagine Brad Nortman on either the Carolina Panthers or the Jacksonville Jaguars being guilty of conduct detrimental to the team. But I don't think when you get suspended for that, more often than not, it's more the beginning of the end with that team, not, it's a life-changing, oh my gosh, he really turned it around. Like, Antonio Brown. I mean, I'm not saying that Jair is going to turn into Antonio Brown, but obviously that was the start of a spiral for him that, his career never really recovered. And so, I don't know what's next for Jair. Tausch will give me a hard time for saying this, but I really like him. He and I have a really good working relationship. I was one of the few people that talked to him on the record where I asked him about, LaFleur and whether or not he had gotten any feeling that LaFleur was frustrated with the uncertainty about his availability. And that was like a month ago. And he flat out told me, knowing he was on the record, that they don't really talk to each other. So when you then heard LaFleur yesterday saying how they will be better in terms of their communication moving forward, that to me was a tacit acknowledgement that both on Jair's side, but also on Matt's side, that they did not do a good enough job of communicating, and they could have perhaps prevented this getting to this point had they communicated better between each other.
Jason, you've been covering Jair for a long time now, and nobody could have foreseen this whole captainship thing happening. But has Jair been abnormally a distraction this year? Because he's always been a little bit his own man. But did you notice that he was abnormally a distraction to the team and sort of even more so of that different guy this year, even before this event?
I did. This would be purely my observation, and I'm not in the locker room other than 45 minutes a day, so I'm not with them. I'm not in meetings, so I don't know what he was like with guys in meetings. Like, you sat through plenty of team meetings. You probably sat with different guys at different times. You and J.J. Jansen were probably joined at the hip.
Yes, sir.
Would have been Graham Gano would have been the kicker then.
That's the bomb squad right there.
You sit with kind of the same guys. I don't know who he sits with in team meetings. He's not sitting with anybody this week, obviously. But he did. There felt like there was a little bit more of a loner mentality, and certainly after they traded Rasul Douglas. And I do find myself wondering, and again, if and when we get to talk to Ja again, I would like to ask him, how much that impacted just how he kind of felt and his aura and his feeling around this team. But he's always been a little bit of a kind of a loner. I know he took Quay Walker under his wing to teach him about, meditation and try and kind of level him out after some of the issues he had last year as a rookie. So I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's a completely selfish guy. I do think corners, especially shutdown corners, have a tendency to be a little bit of me guys. But I don't think he was a colossal distraction other than no one knew when the hell he was going to play. And to me, that's the kind of distraction that's problematic because you're trying to prepare. And clearly on Friday, when Matt LaFleur was putting together his captains for the Carolina game, he did not expect Ja to play because he knew he was from Carolina, from Charlotte. So that is a traditional, as you pointed out, when you guys played the Packers when you were with the Jaguars. That's kind of one of the touchstones of why a guy's a captain is if he's got a connection to the opponent. And, the idea that he wasn't, what I keep saying, and I said this to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning as well, like if they actually had a healthy communicative relationship, does Jair Alexander really think that once he was active 90 minutes before kickoff, if he would have gone to Matt LaFleur and say, "Hey Matt, I know you couldn't make me a captain because you didn't know if I was going to play, but I'm playing today, and it would really mean a lot to me if I could be a captain here in my hometown. I've never played in the stadium before. Would you be okay with me going out there with Eric Wilson and Quay Walker and Aaron Jones?" Do we really think that Matt LaFleur, who is a player's coach that some, Homer included, think is just soft? He's just soft. Well, if he's that soft, do we really think that Matt LaFleur said, "No, we already picked our captain, sorry"? No way. He totally would have let him be a captain. But he didn't bother to ask. He did it in his knuckleheaded way, and that's how we ended up where we are.
I mean, the knuckleheaded way is what I think has built up that frustration amongst the coaching, at least the staff, obviously with Brian Gutekunst as the general manager. But what about his teammates? Yesterday in the locker room, did you have a chance to get any reaction or feel and vibe from how they reacted and responded to Jair being suspended?
Yeah, I talked to a few guys about it, and I don't think anybody was overly surprised. And I think they also understood that, this is kind of, you go overboard the way he clearly did, and this is kind of the result. Now, that said, I don't think anybody's happy about it by any means, but I don't think anybody was shocked by it either. And they knew that he had crossed a line. We talked to Evan Cohen this morning on our show on Sportsmanlike. We talk to him every Thursday. And, I do think there's this kind of misconception about this. Like, it's not because he screwed up the coin toss. It's because he appointed himself a captain and didn't talk to his head coach. That is insubordination. That's why he was suspended. So while I know some in the national media have kind of been having fun at the Packers' expense over this, I thought this was a no-brainer. I thought, I was actually going to be surprised if they didn't suspend him, and because that would have said, we're just going to tolerate anything from this guy.
Yeah, captainship is a huge honor, and especially with the Green Bay Packers, even just talking to Tausch and Chewy, and we're going to ask Balaga later, I mean, that is a huge honor, particularly in that organization. Did you talk to any of the other captains on that day who was out there on the 50 and what their thought process was when, oh my gosh, here's Jair?
So I was giving Eric Wilson some crap just a few minutes ago before we came up from the locker room because he no-commented me yesterday when I asked him what he thought when he saw Jair joining them for the coin toss, and he said it with a big smile on his face because he clearly had an answer. He just wasn't going to give the answer. So I said, hey, that no comment yesterday, that sucked. And Eric and I have a good working relationship. He's like, well, what'd you want me to say, Jason? I said, well, I wanted you to tell me the truth, but I understand why you no commented. So I think if we're being honest, Jair said after the game that, guys were laughing and stuff. They might have laughed about the fact that he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He didn't say defer, and he could have really cost his team. Because, sometimes when you're in an uncomfortable situation, I know I do this, where you kind of try to laugh it off, even though you're like, oh, my God, what the hell is this guy doing, right? So I don't think that was a tacit, kind of supportive, you're really funny, you really pulled a fast one, Shaw. I think they were just so confused and befuddled that they didn't really know how to react. But, again, both Eric Wilson and Aaron Jones are veteran players who I think appreciate what you just said about how important being a captain is and how meaningful that is. I don't think they found it amusing. I don't care what Jair says.
Yeah, I didn't find it amusing either whatsoever, Jason. All right, Jason. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today. And I messed this up before. Take care. Be good.
You cockeyed optimist, you. Absolutely. Take care. Be good, guys.
I love it. Jason Wilde. You can hear Jason Wilde every single weekday here on ESPN Wisconsin from 9 to 12 on Wilde and Tausch. But now it's time for a little over-under. This is your opportunity to win a prize here, picking whether or not Brad and I can, get more than the number over-under that's set by Max. Now, Max, is going to be a tough one today.
It's relatively tough.
Relatively tough.
I would say it's middle of the road.
Middle of the road. 800-990-3776. Right now is your chance to play over-under here on KBN. Can you guess whether or not Brad or I are going to get the over and under? 800-990-3776. Caller number 4 and caller number 8 at 800-990-3776. Here for over-under. You're listening to KBN on ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
Hey, I heard you got into an A off with one of our teammates. When you don't know what to say, you just go, hey.
Right. I mean, A is universal.
It's fair.
Like, it means, hey, how you doing? It means, all right, see you later.
Hey.
It means, what's up? Hey.
Yeah. Or like, good point. Hey.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We've got some delays around the area right now. Southbound 43 from Silver Spring pretty much all the way down past Burleigh. The northbound side's backing up from before North Avenue all the way up to Keefe. So factor that into your ride today. Westbound 94 bit backed up from about 35th Street all the way to Hawley Road. Southbound on 41 on and off the brakes basically between Hampton Avenue and Capitol Drive, a little bit past Capitol. Then it opens up. You're good to go into the zoo interchange. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight. Rain mix tapers off. Mostly cloudy with a low of 37. Tomorrow becoming partly cloudy, a high of 41. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Sunday. You take a morning walk to pick up burgers and beers. You tidy the house for 10 fellow football fans. And your biggest chore? Loading the Bud Light into the fridge. It all pays off because nothing is as easy to enjoy as a Sunday full of football. And beer. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023. Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't put your life on hold to earn a degree. Lakeland University has a long history of making students' dreams come true. Since 1862, build a schedule that meets your needs with options for 7 and 12-week courses, evening classes, and the ability to join classes remotely. Lakeland University is Wisconsin's leader in evening and online education. They have a main campus in Sheboygan County and 6 centers throughout the whole state. Lakeland University. Affordable, quality, flexible. Find out your next steps at info.lakeland.edu.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. Hop in or hop online at uwcu.org to join. As we enter the final week of 2023, it's time to look back at this year's biggest stories. This one from earlier this month, December 18th. The American Volleyball Coaches Association has named Sarah Franklin their National Player of the Year. The 6'4" outside hitter has joined former Badger Dana Retke in 2021 as the only Badgers to ever win the award. Aside from winning National Player of the Year, Frank the Tank was also a unanimous All-Big Ten First Team selection, the Northeast All-Region Player of the Year, and a First Team All-American.
Unwrap your gift now, but pay later. Right now at Pella, put no money down, no payment, and no interest for up to 18 months. Visit PellaWI.com.
Want even more fantasy action? Boom! Here's Pick 6, a brand new fantasy app from DraftKings, a leader in daily fantasy sports. New customers get up to $50 back in Pick 6 credits if your first pick set loses. Getting started is simple. Select a player and choose if he's going to have more or less of a stat. Track your lineup and compete against others for a shot at huge cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and get started with code WKTI. New customers can get up to $50 back in the Pick 6 credit, even if your first pick loses. Only on DraftKings Pick 6 with code WKTI. The crown is yours.
One offer per first-time DraftKings product customer. First qualifying pick set winnings, less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $50 equal to amount of negative number. Issued with non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits, valid for Pick 6 use only. Expire after 1 year. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus. Valid only where DraftKings Pick 6 operates. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Will the guys hit the over or will they disappoint? It's time for Over Under on Kyle Bruston Nortman.
You heard the big voice guy. It's time for Over Under here on KBN. Brad and I are going to try to figure out how many of these, I don't even know what the subject is, but how many of these we can get right. On the under is Al and Racine. On the over is Chef Ed. So we're working and playing for Chef Ed to have him win a $50 gift card to Cousin Subs. Max, what is the over-under number now? And also, what's the topic?
The over-under number is 5.5.
Ooh,
the
low,
topic is the Minnesota Vikings all-time touchdown scoring leaders.
Oh, I might be able to do this one now. It doesn't include touchdown passes, right? So
No,
quarterbacks?
just scoring, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Rushing and receiving
Oh,
touchdowns.
wait a minute
So, I
now.
guess kick return touchdowns as well or whatever. But yeah.
not like kickers.
No, touchdowns.
Oh, touchdowns.
Touchdowns, yeah, not points.
Okay.
Touchdowns.
All right, you ready?
All right, let me know when you're ready.
We ready to go? Ready, Brad?
Yeah, ready.
All right, let's go. Start the clock. Randy Moss. Final answer.
I mean, yeah, that's correct.
Adrian Peterson, final answer.
Correct as well.
Chris Carter, final answer.
Those are the top three.
Robert Smith, final answer.
That is not correct.
I'm sorry, Brad.
Okay, that's right. Hey, you were rolling.
I was rolling. So now,
I'm just gonna let you go until you cooled off.
Okay.
So let's think about who else we got there.
Robert Smith is a really good running back.
And this is not quarterbacks.
Yeah, not quarterbacks. Jerry Reed was a receiver for them for a while.
I mean, you hit a lot of the big ones.
Herschel Walker.
Did he play for the Vikings?
He did. He got traded from the Vikings to the Cowboys.
How long was he there for?
He was long enough for him to get traded for like a whole bunch of picks that changed the Dallas Cowboys franchise.
Okay, let's do Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker, final answer? Almost said something on air.
Okay.
All right. All right. Well,
let's see.
I was rolling. Those are the easy ones.
We're trying to think of who.
2 minutes.
All right.
I do not know my Minnesota Viking history.
All right. I gotta think back to who were
anybody in the last decade besides AP that was like just there for a long time.
Maybe was oh boy who's now in
Thielen.
Oh, Adam Thielen and what's the receiver name? The other receiver that plays for the Buffalo Bills now.
Oh, Diggs?
Diggs.
I mean, those guys played there for some time.
Adam Thielen, he's probably on the list, right?
I'll go with Thielen.
Adam Thielen, final answer.
Correct.
How many did he have?
He had 57.
So
we
I would,
got 4.
you know what? Stephon Diggs might be on that list too.
If he is. I don't think Justin Jefferson is yet. Right? He's only played for 4 years. 3? So we got Diggs. We got JJ. I don't know the Vikings in like the 70s.
Their tight ends either. Yeah, that's the problem.
Hockenson, I don't think would be.
He just got there.
Any other elite running backs that we're missing? I would have thought Robert
Dalvin
Smith.
Cook, is he on there?
1 minute.
I kind of like Dalvin Cook.
Okay, so let's go Dalvin Cook, final answer.
Correct.
And then let's go Stephon Diggs, final answer. Do you want to?
Yeah, you Diggs. Okay.
How many do we have left?
We've got.
You have 5, and you've gotten 3 wrong.
And how many seconds do we have left?
So we need one more to get right.
40 seconds.
Yeah,
Sydney. What was his name? Sydney, right?
We can get one more wrong.
We can get one more wrong?
Yeah, we can get one more wrong.
30 seconds.
So we have.
So who else besides JJ would you even think? It can't be Justin Jefferson.
It might be either. We only get one more. Wait, how many do we get to guess wrong?
You get 10 guesses. So
and how many guesses do we have?
You have 2 guesses left, I believe.
Get one.
So I think you want to just do Jerry. I think it's Jerry Reed, J.R. Reed, Andre Reed. Andre Reed was his name.
10.
You want to? Okay.
Justin
9.
Jefferson final.
8.
Andre
7.
Reed final.
6.
Oh my God.
5.
Not
4.
right.
It's
3.
It's something Reed.
2. 1.
Dang, I'm sorry, Chef Ed.
Man.
I'm sorry,
Chef Ed. Who are we missing? I'm dying to know who these names are.
All right, some of these names I don't even know, but number 1 was Chris Carter, 110 touchdowns. Number 2, Adrian Peterson, 102 touchdowns. Number 3, Randy Moss, 93 touchdowns. Number 4, Bill Brown, 76 touchdowns. I don't know who that is.
Wouldn't have known that.
I'm gonna guess that one.
Number 5, Chuck Foreman. Don't know who that is. 75 touchdowns.
Might as well be. What's Chuck Norris? Might as well be Chuck Norris for me.
Number 6, Adam Thielen. He had 57 touchdowns. Number 7, Anthony Carter. Again, don't know who that is. 54 touchdowns. Number 8, Ted Brown. 53 touchdowns. Number 9, Dalvin Cook. 52 touchdowns. And number 10, Kyle Rudolph.
No!
That's why it was set at 5.5 because that was the one that I thought you guys might be able to get, but you didn't.
Oh no!
Okay, that was a good over/under number.
That was a great over/under number.
But heck, he gave the over was the number of names he knew on the list.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Number of names we knew too.
Oh,
Kyle
man.
Rudolph, man.
I don't know the other 4, so that's,
See, the thing is, I said, Andre, we should just. Dang it, I didn't realize Kyle Rudolph was so
I could have
good.
been mean if you said at 6.5 and you'd had no chance.
Yeah, no chance.
I mean, heck, most people didn't know who the heck these people are. So I guess congratulations to Al and Racine.
Should have thought about Kyle Rudolph's longevity. He was there for a very long time. See, I was even thinking Hockenson before him, but it's recency bias.
Yeah, Hockenson only, but this is his second year there. Man, this is the second time I've done this with somebody, and I said the name. Matter of fact, it's like I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
Very, very frustrated.
Dang, I hate losing that game.
I do too, especially when we won a race. Sorry.
Clearly, we need all 3 of our heads for this game.
I mean,
because has anybody won without the trio? I don't think so.
No, I think I've only done it once with Ben without you here.
Yeah.
I don't think Ben might have got Kyle Rudolph, but
no, he probably would.
None of those older guys.
He would.
No. Yeah. This is a hard list. I was kind of hoping that the last name was a name we didn't know, so I can complain about the list.
Yeah.
But I said the name, so I can't go back and not complain. So again, congratulations to Alan Racine and for winning the $50 Cousin Sub gift card. But when we come back, we're going to have more conversation talking about the Green Bay Packers and Joe Barry. We're going to hit the talk and text line at 800-990-3776. Do you believe that Joe Barry can save his job if the Packers are able to shut out the Vikings, shut out the Bears, and put on a great elite defensive performance against whoever they play in the playoffs? We're going to talk that all and more. Keep it locked. You're listening to KBN on ESPN Wisconsin.
Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some. Why are you throwing? I don't want.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Get to and from every home game in Green Bay this football season safely. Milwaukee Brought House, Jack's American Pub, and Wanakee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They've got bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. Book your round-trip ride from any of these locations and get complimentary access to an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar on Holmgren Way. Make your reservations now. There's still room for the home finale versus Chicago. Visit MilwaukeeBroadhouse.com to book your trip today and use code ESPN23 for 10% off.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're in the market for a full-size 8-passenger SUV, look no further than the Defender 130. And with the Defender 90, the 110, and this 130, there's luxury in the right size for everyone. And now is the best time to take advantage of a great offer like this.
For a limited time, get 3.9% special APR rate for up to 60 months on new 2023 Defenders at Land Rover Waukesha. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee. Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your Green and Gold Fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
The Green Bay Packers squeaked out a 33-30 win over the Carolina Panthers last Sunday on Christmas Eve. Matt LaFleur, when asked about the Packers' defense struggling in the second half, said that the Packers' offense needs to do a better job of helping out their defense.
But it wasn't just on the defense. I mean, offensively, you got to give them a breather, especially if we're bleeding a little bit defensively.
The Packers play on Sunday Night Football. Kickoff is set for 7:20.
This has been your Green and Gold Fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
Experience the excellence of Catholic Memorial High School for yourself. Come see why their students gain a competitive edge at CMH. Visit CatholicMemorial.net to schedule a VIP tour or student shadow day. Meet their inspiring teachers, welcoming students, and feel the energy of the CMH culture. All students achieve more than they ever imagined possible. Visit CatholicMemorial.net to schedule your visit. That's CatholicMemorial.net. Catholic Memorial High School in Waukesha, where you rise.
Hey, it's Jason Wildig for Associated Bank. Looking for a bank with home field advantage? You got it. At Associated Bank, we're more than just a bank. We're your neighbors. That's why scoring a Packers checking account is the right play for your pay. And here's the kicker. Your Packers debit card gets you 10% off at the Packers Pro Shop. Join the team today. Open your Packers checking account at AssociatedBank.com/Packers. Associated Bank, the bank of the Packers since 1919. Your money works here. Member FDIC.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Good song choice, Kyle. Another good thing that you can do for yourself. Now that fantasy football in the season is finding its way to the end, this is the championship weekend. Wah, wah, I'm not in it. But I'm looking for more fantasy action. If you're like me, you should go to Pick 6. It's a brand new fantasy app from DraftKings. They're a leader in daily fantasy sports already. New customers get up to $50 back in Pick 6 credits if your first pick set loses. Getting started, so simple. Select a player and choose if they're going to have more or less of a certain stat. Track your lineup and compete against others for huge cash prizes. You can even do that tonight with the Jets and Browns game. You could do that on Sunday night with the Packers and Vikings. Pick your player. If they're going to have more or less of a stat, and boom, you're playing. You're having fantasy and having a little more fun watching these games. Download the Fantasy DraftKings Pick 6 app now and get started with code WKTI. That's code WKTI. New customers get up to $50 back in Pick 6 credits if your first pick set loses. Only on DraftKings Pick 6, code WKTI. The crown is yours. One offer per first-time DraftKings product customer. First qualifying pick set winnings. Less entry fees must generate a negative number. Max reward up to $50 equal to the amount of the negative number. Issued with non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits. Valid for Pick 6 use only. Expire after 1 year. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus. Valid only where DraftKings Pick 6 operate. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com.
I know KBN got the best of your love here on ESPN Wisconsin, and I love this song, as you said, Brad, and it's so fitting because you know what? We wanted to pivot. We were going to talk Joe Barry, but we said, you know what? Joe Barry and Jair Alexander have stolen all the headlines from what has been a fantastic, phenomenal, impressive, important season for Jordan Love. And you know what? Jordan Love has the best of my love, and I want to take this moment in time for us, for KBN Nation, to appreciate Jordan Love. Because after what he has done recently, and listen, we've been up and down. Right away, Brad, you and I, we love Jordan Love. We're ready to marry him. The cookie. You had the whole moment where you were looking, and all of a sudden you're at a place, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a Jordan Love cookie. This is a sign. We ate the cookie, did we not?
We sure did.
We ate that cookie, but then there were some rocky moments in there in the middle of the season where Jordan Love didn't seem like he was 100% solidified as the guy for the Green Bay Packers. But then the Packers had a 5-game stretch where they beat the Rams. They lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They went in there and they beat the Lions. They beat the Chargers. And they also beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And Jordan Love was seemingly going on his way to be the Green Bay Packers starting quarterback for the future. And when you look at his numbers now with only 2 games remaining, Brad, the dude has been sensational. We compare him to who? Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. And when you compare him to Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, the most touchdown passes over first 15 starts for a Packer QB. Number 3, Brett Favre with 20. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers with 25. Ooh. Number 1, Jordan Love with 26. Wow. I could go on and on, but here's my thing. Based off a couple things. The eye test, right? When you watch Jordan Love play, or when you watch Brett Favre play, or you watch Aaron Rodgers play, you knew you were watching somebody that was talented. When I watch Jordan Love play with my eyes, he has it. He has it. Jordan Love, based off his skill set, based off his leadership, based off his composure, based off the fact that the Green Bay Packers, in the first year of him being the starter of this team, are in the hunt for the playoffs. And if it wasn't for an abysmal defense, this team would right now be in the playoffs, leading it and looking to close it out because of the arm in the play of Jordan Love. And I'm here to tell you, Brad, you, Max, and all of KBN Nation, Jordan Love is elite. There is no if, and, or buts about it. Jordan Love has shown enough to us this season to show that he is an elite quarterback in the NFL, and there is nothing you can say or you can do to change my mind.
When you say elite, is that top 10? Is that top 5?
Jordan
what does that mean to you?
Based off the quarterback playing in the NFL this year, Jordan Love is a top 10 quarterback. When you talk about going into next season, mark my words, Jordan Love will be a dark horse MVP candidate for next year. Because why? All these young weapons that we were so concerned about, that Aaron Rodgers cried and complained about, these guys are all of a sudden starting to look good. Heck, you talked about it a couple weeks ago. You said, hey, this is going to be the Tucker Kraft game. Guess what? Tucker Kraft has arrived. We were talking about Luke Musgrave before the season. Before the season, who else were we talking about? Christian Watson. He's had an up and down season, been hurt. But guess what? A guy named Jayden Reed has emerged, and a guy named Tay Wicks has emerged. All these guys who have been either drafted low, undrafted, or, well, I guess all those guys have been drafted, but non-first round guys, all young guys, rookies as well in there, are playing well It is all under the command and the leadership of Jordan Love. That speaks volumes in everybody. And let me tell you, everybody around the NFL and fans who actually watch football, they know that the Green Bay Packers are coming. This may not be our year to pop, but boy, oh boy, everybody's shaking their head saying, my goodness, how did they do it again?
You know, everything that Jordan Love has seen this year, there's been a lot of ups and downs. There's no doubt about that. But as we sit here with 2 games to go, I don't think that any Packer fan out there, or any national fan out there even, could have imagined this season going any better for Jordan Love. I think if anyone had higher expectations than what he's putting out there, you'd be lying to yourself. Because what he's done this year with an extremely young cast of characters, with the tight ends and wide receivers. Oh yeah, by the way, your all-pro tackle played 1 game. Your running backs have been inconsistent, mostly because of injury and just producing much of a run game. And he has been able to take that, put the offense on his back. And you're listing names that some of the guys we know, some were emerging this year. Think about who Jordan Love was throwing to last week. Talking about Bo Melton and Malik Heath. These are guys that I never heard of before. And he is rising their level of play. One thing I want to see out of my quarterback that is an indication that he has something special is that you are rising the talent of the people around you. We call that a force multiplier. That you just being in the offense, you bring the best out of everybody else. I do not think just any quarterback can do what Jordan Love did this year, is taking this rotating young group of guys and quite honestly making them look like vets. He's directing them, he's putting the ball on target, give them credit for catching it and being able to make the plays when they need to make it. But I can't imagine any other quarterback being able to do what Jordan Love is doing, because it takes patience, it takes humility, and he honestly is bringing his level of play up. There's a set of plays that I think embodies Jordan Love's perfectly. I was trying to think, what were my favorite Jordan Love moments from this year? A couple weeks ago when they were playing the New York Giants, these 2 examples I think personifies Jordan Love. There was a play where I believe it was Malik Heath was going to the back right corner of the end zone, right? And Jordan Love threw it, and he threw it too far out of bounds. It was an incomplete pass, right? You look back at it and you're like, he was maybe there in the back corner. Tough pass, but it was an incomplete pass. Fast forward 2 weeks to this last game in Carolina. Almost the exact same play where Jordan Love steps back in the pocket. There's rush on the outside. Those of you remember, he steps up into the pocket, sort of goes out to his right, gets his feet set, throws it to Jaden Reed, the Jaden Reed touchdown against the Panthers. And it's in that back corner of the end zone with the defender on his hip. Literally is the only place he could put it. It was almost the exact same play, the exact same throw that he missed 2 weeks before. He nailed it. He utterly nailed it on that play. And it was one of the plays that, that Panther game, it was close here and there. It was a we gotta have it touchdown drive. So what that says to me is Jordan Love, he grows, he learns, he takes steps. That has embodied Jordan Love's journey, because when he played the Kansas City Chiefs early in his career, even when he showed up as a rookie training camp, I think the thought process was, whoa, this dude is super raw. Like he has a long way to go. And it looks like chasms between him and Aaron Rodgers. But what has he done? He stayed quiet. He's just gotten better and better and better and better, to where even the lulls earlier in the season where he was struggling, he took each one of those and corrected them. He's now making those plays. And that brings me back to the Minnesota Vikings. You know when he really took off, Kyle?
When
he really Week 9. Week 9 was right after the Packers played the Vikings, and they looked bad. And it was a 4-game stretch where they looked bad. But since Week 9, that was the St. Louis Rams, the Los Angeles Rams. Since Week 9, Jordan Love is top 10, if not top 5, in every major quarterback category. He has turned it on since then, shown that he can grow, and that his last bad game was the Vikings in Week 8. He has another shot at them now. Look what he did to the Lions earlier in the year. Week 3, bad showing. Thanksgiving Day, dominates. He takes the short fallings early, and he corrects them later and looks great. I want to see him do that again against the Vikings.
800-990-3776. We're talking about Jordan Love and gushing over his greatness here on KBN. And going into the season, if somebody was to tell you that Jordan Love would have 30 touchdowns total And also, touchdownsforlove.com. Donate. You can always donate, as every single touchdown Jordan Love scores for the rest of the year is going to be a donation made to the Carbone Cancer Research Center in Madison, UW-Madison, for $2,500 with Guarding Against Cancer. So it's a phenomenal thing that we're doing here, and a lot of our partners are doing here. But if you would have said before the season, he's going to have 30 touchdowns. And also, he's going to be the only quarterback in the NFL to have 7 games with multiple touchdowns and 0 interceptions. You would say, man, this dude is an MVP candidate. We have found the guy. We came in this season, and the big thing that, you and Ben and a lot of people talked about, for me, because I'm cockeyed, whatever it is, I wanted the Packers to win a lot of games. But for a lot of people, a sensible individual, the goal was for the Packers to come out this season not winning a lot of games, but competing and knowing moving forward. When it's time to maybe sign an extension, they knew when they signed that extension with a quarterback that Jordan Love was the guy, and they trusted him to really take the keys and lead this franchise for years to come. And guess what, Brad? Check the box. Mission is accomplished. Jordan Love has shown he is not just an okay NFL quarterback. He is not just a subpar NFL quarterback. He's not just a guy, Daniel Jones. No, Jordan Love is a rising star and a future MVP candidate in the NFL as soon as next season. You talked about the numbers that he has. Those numbers are comparable with all the elite quarterbacks. 27 touchdown passes, a 91.8 passer rating, 11 interceptions, 3,500 yards. Listen, Aaron Rodgers put up these similar numbers and we loved Aaron. We need to start loving on our boy Jay Love, because he is going to be here for a very long time.
And there's a lot of advanced analytics that I don't honestly want to get into, but I've got them right here on my legal pad, Kyle. And they try to equalize accuracy and drops and guys who are on the field and did they run the right route and things like that. Very deep analytics. It's unbelievable how consistently he turns up as being, if not top 5, for sure in the top 10, for sure since week 9. And even if you take into account the first 8 weeks, he's still hovering around 10 to 15, if not higher, in most statistics. So it just goes to show that, look, the Packers, we don't know exactly what they can do from a defensive coordinator standpoint and maybe some drafting some defense, but they know how to identify and develop quarterbacks. And honestly, this is a league of haves and have-nots. You either have a quarterback or you don't have a quarterback, and that determines whether you have a chance in this league. The Packers looks like they are in the have category.
And it feels good to be in the have category, boy, oh boy. We're going to talk more Jordan Love next, because we got to take a break, but we got to gush more about Jordan Love. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Keep it locked here on KBN on ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
I love me some Jordan Love, but you know what else I love? Strippers. The club.
Mark that.
That's what I want for my birthday. Listen, Jordan Love, I'll see you one day, buddy.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Backups continue on southbound 43, coming in from Silver Spring all the way down to about Locust, so watch out for that. Right now we're at 17 minutes from Brown Deer Road into downtown. The northbound side is going to be backed up as well. Another 12 minutes to get from downtown up to Brown Deer Road. Most of those delays happening right around the North Avenue curve up to Keith. And then on southbound 41, a little bit backed up right past Capitol Drive. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, rain mix tapers off, mostly cloudy then with a low of 37. Tomorrow becoming partly cloudy, a high of 41. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Weather is brought to you by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Play Whistling Straits and other Pro Tour courses, whatever the weather is, in one of their 12 state-of-the-art simulators.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey, riding with you every mile since 1977.
Check out our brand new Hyundai dealership, one of the largest in the Midwest.
Step inside of our state-of-the-art showroom where you can view our new Hyundai models and some of our finest certified pre-owned.
We've also expanded our service center, staffed by our factory-certified technicians.
And right next door, we've started construction on our all-new Genesis of Waukesha dealership.
But we're not just building walls, we're building careers.
So if you're looking for a career with great benefits and opportunity for growth, Boucher is the place for you.
At Boucher, we ride with you every mile.
Hey, this is Jen Latta. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Oh boy, are you looking for more fantasy action? I know.
Wait a minute. You know what it is.
That is. It's the Faux One Faux Hour at Faux on KBN.
I'm gonna need you to do a little bit more energy. You gonna have to stand up and give me some light. There we go.
It's the Faux One Faux Hour at Faux on KBN.
Presented by
Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Official beer of the NFL.
Yes, it is.
I was getting all into our other read.
I know, right? We got to set the tone
about
now.
Pick Six.
Yeah. What about Pick Six? Got you all excited?
Well, I mean, quite honestly, it's because I need that at fantasy outlet, right? I mean, and I just got dominated in my semifinals of Pick Six or of fantasy football. So I'm looking for another avenue to be able to have some fantasy fun, and DraftKings can help you do that with Pick Six. It's a new app from DraftKings. And they're giving you a great opportunity now with $50 back in Pick Six credits if your first pick set loses. It's super simple. It's fun to play. It makes these games more exciting, like the Jets and Browns. Who wants to watch that game? But with Pick Six, it makes it a little bit more interesting. Select a player. Choose if he's going to have more or less of a certain stat. Track your lineup and compete against others for huge cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Pick Six app now and get started with code WKTI. That's right, code WKTI. Because new customers with code WKTI can get up to $50 back in Pick Six credit if your first pick set loses. Only on DraftKings Pick Six, code WKTI. The crown is yours. One offer per first-time DraftKings product customer. First qualifying pick set winnings. Less entry fee must generate a negative number. Max reward up to $50 equal to the amount of the negative number. Issued with non-withdrawable Pick Six credits. Valid for Pick Six use only. Expire after 1 year. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18+. Valid only where DraftKings Pick Six operates. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com.
He's Bradley Nortman, longtime NFL punter. I'm Kyle Wallace. This is KBN. You can stream us on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. That is ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. And I just somebody please tell me, how do you not believe Jordan Love is elite? Jordan Love is an elite quarterback. I'm going to tell you guys some stats right now. Aaron Rodgers is one of the GOATs, maybe?
He's probably top 5.
He's top 5 quarterbacks of all time. If I told you that Jordan Love in his first season was going to have a better season statistically than Aaron Rodgers before this year, would you have believed me?
I would not have, honestly.
And I'm just going to run this right now because men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. And Aaron Rodgers in his first season as a starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, he had a 63% percentage completion rating. He had 4,038 yards he threw for, 28 touchdown passes and 13 interceptions with a passer rating of 93.8. All right? Okay. All great numbers. We were all excited about, man, Aaron Rodgers, he gave us the lead late. If it wasn't for the defense, we would have won more games. Aaron Rodgers is going to be good. Let me tell you what Jordan Love has done this year without having a Donald Driver, without having a Greg Jennings, without having a Jermichael Finley, without having great players like that. This is what he's done. He has a 62.5 completion percentage. Of course, he can increase
like half a percentage off.
Exactly. But he's thrown for 3,587 yards. He's thrown for 27 touchdown passes, 11 interceptions, and a passer rating of 91.8. These are really good numbers for a first-year starter. He already in his first season has more total touchdowns than Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers had as their first season as a starter. People, let's not sit here and judge him based off we're just so nervous about, he's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. Forget all that. This dude is putting up elite numbers as a first-year starter with a lesser team. This is impressive. Let's just say it now. We are lucky. We did it 3 times in a row. We have 3 elite quarterbacks back to back. 800-990-3776. Tell me how you don't believe Jordan Love is elite.
Listen, this whole thing is eerily similar, right? Because you put up those numbers, and I think any reasonable person would say, yeah, that's absolutely impressive that Jordan Love can basically match Aaron Rodgers' first year as a starter. But not only that, it's the same reason why they didn't win more games. The thing is, well, the defense for Aaron Rodgers let him down, or else they would have won more games. How about the same thing with Jordan Love? The defense would have let them down, or let the Packers down, or else they would have won more games and went to the playoffs. There were some stats that I came across the other day with even Favre and Rodgers, right? And the similarities there. They both ended 2 for 6 on their final 6 passes at Lambeau Field. They both ended in a interception that clinched the game to not allow them to go further, basically an elimination game. Additionally, when when Favre was playing, the wind was 12 miles per hour, and when Rodgers was playing, the wind was 4 miles per hour. This is like Lincoln Kennedy stuff right here. But it's weird how this cyclicality can come in the Green Bay Packers. It just goes to show there are some processes with them we should trust. We should trust them on how to develop, draft, and set up a quarterback for success. And look, I would not have believed you if you would have said those stats preseason. And that's why it makes me think, are there any Jordan Love disbelievers out there still? I would love to be able to hear what their concerns are.
This season is more impressive than what Aaron Rodgers did. It's not even close. It's not even close, people. 800-990-3776. Tell Brad and I how Jordan Love is not going to be elite. Someone on our ESPN Wisconsin Talking text line, Derwin, said he is far from elite. He is playing like a rookie and is struggling every game. He has no touch on the deep ball, constantly throws late, I'm assuming. Constantly throws late, and that makes him adverse. We can nitpick about this all we want, Brad. But
I'm glad I took some stats down.
I'm glad. Let's read the stats off, Stat Boy.
Jordan Love is top 3 in deep ball passing since week 9. Think about that. Since week 9, there were some struggles early on, but again, he corrected them early
on.
And since then, he's been able to turn it on. And the statistics say, based on deep ball passing, he's a top 3 quarterback in deep ball.
And we can sit here like the Romeo Doubs catch before, and he's had some great, amazing catches. Some of these deep balls to dive that we had from Jaden Reed earlier this year. Listen, we can say some of this may be lucky, but at the end of the day, there is something about him that makes people, like you said, elevate their play. They rise to the occasion. And that is an intangible you cannot teach. Guys who are playing like that, making great. Romeo Doubs will go a whole game and do nothing. But when it's his moment, he shines because he trusts his quarterback, and that elevates him.
And quite honestly, if Kyle and I aren't reputable enough to sing Jordan Love's praises, you guys should check out what Dan Orlovsky says about him, our fellow friend of the ESPN networks.
He's a former NFL player just like you.
He's a former NFL quarterback for 12 years. Right now, all he does is talk football and break down quarterbacks, and he gushes about what Jordan Love can do.
800-990-3776. Jordan Love is elite. That's our stance. Can you change our mind? Chris and Muskego, you're on KBN. What are your thoughts on Jordan Love and his elite status as a quarterback?
Well, I'm not going to anoint anybody elite till like years 3 and 4 and 5, but the kid is definitely our future. He's a spark. How do you say? He's got gamemanship. The kid's got heart. I think he's very smart and intelligent. Has he had bad throws? Has he had thrown some ones we wish he always goes back? Has he had throws we're going like, what are you doing? But you tell me one quarterback in the league from Tom Brady on down who people haven't said, what are you doing? The kid's got it. I think Gutekunst did the right thing when he drafted this kid, even though 99% of Packer Nation's going to say, oh, heck no. But I love him, and I just can't wait to see what goes on in the future. He's a gamer. He can move, he can run, he can throw. This footwork will get better. And everybody says, well, what about his footwork? Well, if you listen to Rodgers, he said he worked with Clemens for how many years before he started to get that second nature with his footwork. It wasn't something that happened overnight, and when he took over for Brett, it still was a continuous process of getting his footwork down. But he's got all the tools to do it. He's showing he can do it. The kid's got heart. And everybody says, well, what kind of leader is he? What kind of leader is he? What's he saying in the locker room? Well, Does anybody remember Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre, their first couple of years as starters, actually making these great big public statements and going like, what'd he say? No, that takes time to build that leadership. I have all the faith that this kid is one day going to be elite, but I'm going to wait to make my judgment. Just like you don't grade a guy in his first year in the NFL as a draft pick. Oh, was he a key draft pick? No, you got to wait 2 or 3 years. NFL's a whole different animal than coming out of college. And so far, I love what I see. I love all the receivers. I love the tight ends. But it's still time to fire Barry.
Still had to get that in there.
Hey, Chris, I ain't mad at you about this. I ain't mad at you whatsoever. Hey, listen, here's the thing about us Packers fans. We're going to gush over our boy Jordan Love, but we're going to have to throw that shot at Joe Barry because we're sick of it.
Got to dial it in.
We are sick of it. 800-990-3776. Is Jordan Love an elite quarterback? We're going to continue the conversation. We got people on the line. Brian in Milwaukee, we see you. Alan in Milwaukee, we see you. We got talking text, but we're going to continue this conversation because Brad, at least I mean, I'll speak for Brad. Jordan Love is elite in my eye, and Brad obviously believes he's on his way to being elite.
Yeah, I think he's well on his way. I think if you were going to start a franchise today and you had all 32 quarterbacks available, I think he would be in your top 10 of guys that I would select to build my franchise around.
And that's saying a lot. We're going to have more conversation on the other side. Keep it locked. You're listening to KBN on ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
You go talk to your friends, talk to my friends, talk to me. Oh, we are never, ever, ever getting back together.
There we go.
We're just as good as her.
We really are.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Well, we've got a problem northbound 43 at Kilbourne. The right shoulder is blocked with a crash, so that's going to be adding to your headaches there. Of course, it's going to be backed up around the North Avenue curve up to Keefe. Southbound side, slowing down just before Hampton Avenue, all the way down past Locust. And then on eastbound 94, slowing down from Mitchell Boulevard all the way through the Stadium interchange to about 27th Street. Traffic is brought to you by the Delafield Brew House. Now on tap, Sleigh Wreck Ale, a fine blend of 2-year-old Scotch Ale, barley wine, and Imperial Stout, all bourbon barrel aged. The Delafield Brew House. Drink ale, live lager. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, rain mix tapers off. Mostly cloudy with a low of 37. Tomorrow, becoming partly cloudy with a high of 41. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Put a smile on your face and put your hands together for the Houdinis of the hardwood, the human highlight reels that bring wow to the now, the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters. This isn't just basketball. This is where what just happened happens all the time. Don't miss the Harlem Globetrotters 2024 World Tour presented by Jersey Mike Subs at Fiserv Forum on December 31st. Go to harlemglobetrotters.com for tickets.
Here in Wisconsin, a good old-fashioned is an important way of life. And that's where my friends at Perky's Old Fashioned come in. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel here to tell you about the easiest way to put together an Old Fashioned. Perky's offers both brandy and bourbon Old Fashioned mixes. And get this, the booze is already in there. Just add the soda of your choosing, and you'll have Grandma Perky's Old Fashioned in the palm of your hand. Perky's is locally made and great for get-togethers of all kinds. Get perked up and head to perkysspirits.com for your nearest Perky's location.
What's better than free? How about play free all year? This January at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in reward play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games to earn prize drawing entries. Then stop by each Thursday night in January to see if you're a winner. $400,000 in prizes is up for grabs. Over 40 winners each week. Yeah, free is for me. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
We all share the same roads, but when an accident happens, we don't always share the same consequences. Big trucks can cause big damage. Injuries can be severe and may require a lifetime of care and compensation. Call Gruber Law Offices today. We can help you from the safety and comfort of your own home. Our virtual sign-up process is quick and easy. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Puke
Club of Wisconsin is your hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what do you have going on over there?
Gary, we have so much going on. We're still the place to be on game days to catch the green and gold. Book a holiday party in our VIP room, which includes a private pool table, 2 shuffleboard tables, and 4 dartboards. Plus, we got great live music every Saturday night. And of course, we've got our fish fry on Wednesdays and Fridays, where we pile it high!
All happening at the Q Club of Wisconsin, North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Check out qclubofwisconsin.com.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Ain't gang if you let slide. Ain't bad if you got a big guns and a lot of zip ties. Said she look like me, quit lying.
Everybody should be a fan of Jordan Love and the happiness he is going to bring Packers Nation. I'm just making that statement because he's elite. And this is KBN on ESPN Wisconsin. He's Brad Norman, longtime NFL punter. I'm Kyle Wallace, longtime Packer fan. And we want you to chime in on this conversation. 800-990-3776. Do you believe Jordan Love is an elite quarterback? And if you don't, please tell us why. The talk and text line is open. Our ESPN Wisconsin talk line is open. You can chime in on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. Brad right now is responding on YouTube to anybody who's talking on YouTube. Definitely stream us and watch us live. But I want to know, is Jordan Love elite? And if he's not, tell me why. Brian in Milwaukee. What are your thoughts on Jordan Love? Is my guy elite?
Well, I think I would side with Brad a little bit on this one right now. He's not quite at that level yet, but he's definitely well on his way to that level. What's going to make him better? That's the offense getting better around him, especially the receivers. I mean, he really struggled in the middle of the season, and I think it was because of the people around him, not so much him. So what's going to make him better is I just can't wait for 2 years down the road when we've got 2 of those guys that are 4-year receivers and the rest of them have been in this league for 3 years. I think this offense is going to be pretty difficult to deal with once we get to that situation, and I think Love's going to be that much better once those guys improve around him.
You know, I agree. A lot of the early season challenges had to do with guys in the wrong place, that running the wrong routes, and that's why early on, part of the reason why his completion percentage was so low. But, you know, to me, I don't know if he's elite yet. Maybe he's knocking on the door. He's not top 5. He's probably top 10, top 12. But here's the thing. Here's what I will say, Kyle.
Let's go ahead, say
when you and I talk on KBN this time next year, mark this date, 12/28/2023, I think we're going to be sitting here saying, okay, now we know Jordan Love is elite. I think he will already have an extension, and we will confidently be able to put him in the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, because what do we know about Jordan Love? We said earlier, he grows. That is why I have no doubt giving him the money, letting him be the franchise quarterback, because what we see now, he's already borderline elite. He's going to only keep growing because that's who he is. That's how he's shown his personality and character is. So the growth's going to continue. His trajectory is going to be eye-popping.
Dude, as you said, he's top 10 in almost every important quarterback statistic
since
that you
week
have.
9.
I mean, that's an elite status. This is it. Listen, you guys are just running away from the inevitable. I'm not going to be on the late train. I'm going to be on the Love train. I'm going to be on the train right now. Alan in Milwaukee, you got to be on the Love train, ain't you?
Man, somebody should just unplug your microphone.
Oh, come on.
Oh, Alan, here we go, Alan. Here we go, Alan. All right. Well, be a
don't
pessimist.
bring it down now.
Tell me why you're pessimistic about Jordan Love, who has 7 wins this year and would be more if it wasn't for the boo-boo defense the Packers had. Please explain to us.
Okay, so first off, Mike McCarthy says stats are for losers, and he's got a Super Bowl, so I'll go with what he said. So you can't win any arguments with stats with me. So
stats are how you judge a player's performance.
But still, it's beyond the stats. I think he's done a hell of a lot better than I thought he was going to do. That's for certain. But it's still not enough. Like the things like you guys keep saying, he's a first year starter, but he is a 4th year player, and I don't see him doing 4th year things. Like he's a 4th year player. So you've still been preparing like you're the starter for 4 years. You've still been watching tape playing for 4 years. You've still been looking at who can I take advantage of on the defense if I get the chance to start, for 4 years. That's the thing he's not doing. He's not going out there and like commanding the game, taking over the offense and saying, okay, let's attack this part.
Alan, come on now, Alan.
The fact that every possible stat you can bring up, he's top 10 in since week 9, that means nothing to you?
But here's this thing though. Before they played the Buccaneers, his stats were pretty much lock in step with Baker Mayfield. So if you think Baker Mayfield is trash, then you're saying Jordan Love is trash because their stats were pretty much exactly the same.
Baker's got Godwin, Evans, Rashad White. I mean, he's got Pro Bowlers all around him.
And he also has more experience in the NFL as a starter as well.
He's about to get paid, by the way. The Buccaneers
you said the stats mean something.
The eye test in the stats means something. And for me, the eye test, looking at what is around this guy. And that's the thing that's so important to me. This is a roster that has the youngest receiving core in the NFL, and I believe the youngest roster in the NFL. You're talking about a lot of guys that have no idea what they are doing, and they're going to come along slowly. The fact that they were able to go on the run, and honestly, they beat Jared Goff and the Lions. They beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Now, I know the Chiefs aren't playing the best this year, but still being able to win those important games and outplay both those quarterbacks when it mattered to put your team in the playoff hunt, you deserve credit for that. It's not just the stats. The stats add on top of it. Obviously, there's some small things that he's going to have to fix, and he's going to fix those. That takes time, especially when you're starting. But at the end of the day, when you watch Jordan Love and you watch this team, my biggest complaint with Jordan Love was what? Early in the season, he was throwing interceptions at the end of the game to not win the game. But what have we seen recently? When he's had the ball late, he's been able to try to put the game away. His defense might have failed him sometimes, but he has gone in the right direction. Listen, we can nitpick about small things, but you're only being a hater if you don't believe Jordan Love is obviously the guy and he's not trending towards being elite. And I'm telling y'all this right now. Jordan Love, compare him with all the MVP candidates. He is not an MVP candidate this year, but when you compare him this year with those candidates, you'll say, wow, he's not too far off. His team hasn't won enough games, but I'm telling you right now, he's going to make the Pro Bowl this year, and he also is going to be an MVP candidate coming up in the future. 800-990-3776. Is Jordan Love elite? Georgia Minocqua. I know you on me and Brad's side, at least thinking he's a good quarterback.
Hey, guys.
Hey, George, how you doing?
Doing good.
Cool.
So there's one word that Favre, Rodgers, and Love have in common during their first year, and this is where you guys got to simmer down a little bit. The word is potential. Many guys plateau out second, third year in the NFL, and you've got to wait. Now, Love is trending in all the right ways, but let's just wait a little bit. Let's see how next season goes, and you've just got to wait and see. That's all I'm saying. I think he's trending in all the right directions. He says all the right things. He behaves the way a quarterback should behave in the locker room and all that other kind of stuff, as far as I know. But I think we all just got to take a deep breath here, be grateful that we've got a very, very competent quarterback, and let's just see what happens the next year. Nobody's hating Jordan Love. All I'm saying is let's just take a wait and see.
George, I like that. That is like sensible.
It's a very steady approach.
Yeah, but I'm
measured.
I'm just, especially with the week that we dealt with as Packers fans, we had to deal with watching our team up in Carolina in a game that really matters, up by multiple points going into the fourth quarter, and watch that fourth quarter lead evaporate because of our defense. And guess who had to be captain save the team? Jordan Love. He's the one who saved this team and drove them downfield. And so that we should pat him on the back and give him credit. You guys don't want to be excited about it? I do. I'm sick of hearing about Jair Alexander. I'm sick of this defense. The one bright spot on this team is the most important bright spot, and it is Jordan Love. And I think we should give him the love he deserves.
And you pair what he has done this year with his personality quality of improving and taking growth and failing in one area, then the next opportunity to be able to conquer that next time he faces it. I just think with those two combination of his raw talent, what he's already done on the field, plus his personality characteristic that he clearly has a lot of growth and that he takes that growth seriously because it shows up on the field, it just shows everything's heading in the right direction. And just as an interesting component, absolutely, if Jordan Love was on a 3-year contract and we could like sit back and relax and just let him play out that contract, That would be ideal, but he's going to be a free agent after next season. The Packers are going to have to make a decision this offseason. I doubt they have this negotiation during the season. That'd be a huge distraction for a quarterback. So they're going to have to make a decision. Is he the guy? Do you extend him in the offseason? Do you wait until next offseason, but risk him playing at an even more elevated level and then probably resetting the quarterback market, which is going to be painful financially?
800-990-3776. That's the ESPN Wisconsin talking text line. Lewis and the MKE. What are your thoughts on J Love and being elite?
Elite? You can't put elite and Jordan Love in the same sentence, man.
Dang, we got so many haters.
No, it's not. You hold on. You're not even qualified to call me a hater. Only listen to me when I talk about football. Okay,
it be your own people.
That caller. Listen, yes, old people. I got more experience watching football than you. So listen.
No, I say your own people.
Right. Just respect it. The caller two callers ago when he was talking about Jordan Love, a first-year starter but a 4-year player, everything he said about Jordan Love was correct. You know what I'm saying? Right now, if you're a GM, would you trade Jordan Love for the kid, the Texans quarterback? Yes, you would. Straight up, yes, you would.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud is good.
He's in the top 10 of guys. C.J. Stroud is also in that top 10. But what about all the stats since week 9 showing that he's a top 10 quarterback in every stat you can slice out?
I'll explain. I'll explain that to you. What the NFL has strived for is called parity. You can look on the schedule right now and see a bunch of 7 and 8 teams playing a bunch of mediocre teams playing mediocre teams. That's what we have in the NFL.
He played the Lions and the Chiefs during that time.
You got to let me finish, okay? Parity is what has allowed Jordan Love to be, in the top 10 stats, whatever. But the eye test, people who watch football know that the kid doesn't have it.
Oh, come on now. Dan Orlowski watches a lot of football, and he's gushing about him. All the national pundits.
Same thing with my former teammate Nate Tice, who writes for The Athletic. He gushes about him on social media. Former quarterback.
Dan Orlowski. One person. You name me one.
Nate Tice.
He just I played with him. He was a former quarterback. Writes for The Athletic. Go to their Twitters.
Okay. You named one.
That's 2.
Name 2. I'm telling you, those guys.
So do you think we should? So you think the Packers should reset? You think they should get rid of Love?
No, I don't think that. No, because this was going to happen. The pretty boy in Denver is going to get released. We're probably going to sign him. He'll be the starting quarterback.
Lewis, thank you, Lewis.
Lewis is hot today.
Listen, Lewis, you know what? That was some hater talk.
There's been some bad takes on the show today. That was the worst one.
Yeah,
Lewis. There is a 0% chance Russell Wilson is the quarterback at the Packers.
Lewis and MKE, man. Come on now. Ben Bruss, you got to come back, man, get your boy Lewis. But, hey, thank you, everybody, for chiming in on the talk. Yeah, we love the calls. We love the conversation. We're going to have more of that conversation coming up next. Keep it locked. You are listening to KBN on ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
GKB, they get all my love, all my energy, and all my time. I'll be danged if GKB and Craig not going to allow me to take my half-an-hour boo-boo. If I need to do that, they need to allow me to do that. That's your whole lunch break. I don't even take a lunch break. I work during lunch.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We've got an accident northbound 43 at Kilbourne's blocking the right lane, so watch out for that. Then it continues kind of heavy right around the North Avenue curve all the way up to about Keefe. The southbound side slowing down from before Hampton Avenue all the way to Locust. Eastbound 94 hitting the brakes from about 76th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. Starts to let up once you get past 27th Street. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight. Rain mix tapers off, mostly cloudy then with a low of 37. Tomorrow becoming partly cloudy with the high of 41. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazagon, 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, this is Gary Ellison for my good friends at the Jewelry Center. It's the only place I go when I'm looking to get some new jewelry. Dean and his team are always friendly and know just what I'm searching for when I stop by. I may not always know what type of jewelry I want, but the professionals there sure do. Plus, if I need repairs on watches or other jewelry, the Jewelry Center does that too. Find the Jewelry Center in Burlington, Brookfield, and Greenfield, or shop their entire collection online, including their popular Lightbox lab-grown diamonds at shoptjc.com.
Tired of power outages disrupting your life? Make them a thing of the past by getting a Generac home standby generator from Adams Generators. Adams Generators is the largest and #1 rated Generac dealer in Wisconsin. With 24/7 emergency support, our factory-trained technicians are standing by to assist you. Visit adamspower.com/generators to make sure your power always stays on. That's adamspower.com/generators.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, a group of doctors I trusted with my knee surgery. The pain was real and options were important. My experience with each doctor was thorough, the appointments were timely, always close and easy access to the building. My mom felt the same way, I know, when she went there for her physical therapy appointments at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. I trusted their surgical team for my knee surgery, and I know they'll take care of you the way they did my mom and me. Make an appointment at orthowisconsin.com.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
The Green Bay Packers squeaked out a 33-30 win over the Carolina Panthers last Sunday on Christmas Eve. Matt LaFleur, when asked about the Packers defense struggling in the second half, said that the Packers offense needs to do a better job of helping out their defense.
But it wasn't just on the defense. I mean, offensively, you got to give them a breather, especially if we're bleeding a little bit defensively.
The Packers play on Sunday Night Football. Kickoff is set for 7:20.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
My night runs into morning all the time.
It is KBN here on ESPN Wisconsin. He's Brad Nortman. I'm Kyle Wallace. Max holding it down on the ones and twos for us. And we just had a spirit conversation talking about Jordan Love and whether or not he is an elite. Whether you believe he's elite or not, you know what he is, Brad?
What's that?
He's a franchise quarterback.
He is. He's going to get his money, and the Packers are in no choice. At a minimum, again, I know Lewis from MKE and whoever doesn't agree that he's elite. I'm okay with that. If you don't think he's elite, I'm okay with that. Or even trending that direction. But there's no way that you can call in and tell me this guy is not worth an extension. He's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. You can't win with him. He has proven that you can do that. He's proven that he can be clutch. He's proven that he can groan. He can make the passes. He's fearless. He's taken legitimately no-name dudes and making them at least Wisconsin household names, and some of these guys more national with like Reed and Wicks. I mean, those guys, they're rookies. They're legitimately nobodies without Jordan Love elevating them.
No, and what's impressive is this for me, is that we talk about the talent around him, and we talked earlier this year about the comparison with Brock Purdy. There's going to be bad games. Brock Purdy was in the MVP conversation going up against the Ravens game on Monday, Christmas Day, and he laid an egg and had 4 interceptions in that game. Like, you're going to have bad games, and there is no Deebo Samuel on this team. There is no Christian McCaffrey on this team. Heck, the dude closest to Christian McCaffrey is Aaron Jones, and he hasn't played much this year. There is no Trent Williams on this team because David Bakhtiari has been hurt all season long. There isn't even a Brandon Ayuk on this team or George Kittle. All the weapons that they have on that team are absent, and Brock Purdy still had a 4-interception game. I'm telling y'all, the dude is special. And we better appreciate what we have.
And nobody's saying that Brock Purdy should be benched, that he's not the guy, even after one game. And he went through a 3-game stretch where he struggled a little bit, if you remember that. But even with all that being said, it's a long season. It's not going to be perfect. Jordan Love has just taken such incredible unexpected strides. And usually those strides take a year to go. The play that I described earlier, missing Heath in the corner, and then playing the same exact play 2 weeks later, and he nails it for a touchdown with Reed. It doesn't usually happen over 2 weeks. Usually it's like, I missed that in my first year. In my next year, I'm going to be able to get it. The dude corrected it in 2 weeks. That's impressive.
But you know what I love most about Jordan Love?
What's that?
It's the confidence that he shows in his teammates. You talked about Malik Heath. A couple of weeks ago, I think it might have been the same game, a game against the Buccaneers. Malik Heath dropped the touchdown pass in the end zone. Next play, what did he do?
Right back at him.
Right back to Malik Heath, and Malik Heath had an opportunity to show that he can have the next play mentality. Do you understand? I mean, you play in the NFL. To be able to have a negative play and then have a successful play after that, that can be the difference in believing in yourself and not. Because a lot of times in sports and a lot of things in life, it's confidence that you belong here.
It's one of the reasons why why Jordan does so well.
He's looking like Aaron.
Oh, man. It's the reason why Jordan does so well with this rotating group of guys is that he's not going to hold that against you. He's going to keep on coming back to you, and he's going to put that trust back into you. Aaron, for all of his greatness, he wouldn't do that. You drop a ball, he will ice you out. You don't know a play, he will ice you out. And Aaron's great, but it doesn't seem like Jordan has that quality, and I think that was a flaw in Aaron, and it showed up sometime in playoff games.
I'll be interested to know, a guy who played with a lot of elite quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers being one of them, Justin Herbert being another one, is Brian Bulaga. I want to know where Brian Bulaga is when it comes to Jordan Love and the level of him being elite and a franchise quarterback. Brian, the former Green Bay Packers left tackle, will join us next here on KBN on ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN.
Most people don't have Super Bowl 50 authentic gear that they did not have to purchase, that was given to them because they were
Correct.
part of the festivities.
Correct.
That's not people. That's highbrow there, elitist a little bit.
I'm a little bit hurt that you think
I knew we'd break them.
I'm a little hurt that you think that I would go to the extent of trying to posture.
What made you wear this today?
Yeah.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I'll jump in Lake Michigan naked.
What?
No one's asking for the naked part.
Whatever you need me to do, clothed, I will do.
All right, fair.
Van Brust, Lake Michigan.
If they make the playoffs, I will jump in Lake Michigan.
Perfect.
There we go.
Guess we've got a whole new reason to be green and gold fans the rest of this season.
We're just taking it week by week, focusing on what we can do throughout the week to get better.
I feel like we are improving as a football team.
Packers nonsense. 94.5 ESPN.
Ho, ho, ho! I need a window.
Baby, it's cold outside.
So where do I go? Ho,
Come on,
ho.
Santa. Go to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Put no money down, no payment, and no interest for up to 18 months.
Hella now, pay later. Ho,
That's right, Santa. Plus, our elves install year-round and in as little as 1 day. Offer ends December 31st. Schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See show for details.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Joe Fortenbaugh.
It's easy to win a football game and be nice and pleasant and affable with the media afterwards. What's challenging is how you handle defeat. Kyle Shanahan and the Niners went through some adversity earlier in the season. You didn't hear him fighting with the media. Mike Tomlin's been dealing with it for 2 months. Yeah. He continues to come out. He sticks to his script. He's got his values, and he preaches those. There are guys that handle it well and guys that don't. And Sirianni seems like a guy right now who's just coming a little bit unhinged. And it speaks to the value behind the scenes of Jalen Hurts talking about how commitment is apparently an issue with this team. That's one comment that raises a red flag. You've got the switch at defensive coordinator late in the season. That raises another red flag. You've got a head coach who's getting all defensive with the media despite being, 10-4 this season. That raises a red flag. Mm-hmm. Something's going on that we don't all know about right now, and it feels like eventually that story will leak and we'll go, now we see why there was a big problem.
Yo, 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 what's up, party people? I'm Julie Foudy.
And I'm Lynn Ozawi.
We host the ESPN podcast Laughter Permitted, where we have candid chats with trailblazing women in sports and beyond.
We've talked with goats like Billie Jean King, Simone Biles, Mia Hamm, Sue Bird, Candace Parker, Michaela Schifrin, just to name a few.
So grab a donut or 500 and check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, Ally, who has supported us since day one.
It's Laughter Permitted.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
Bucks fans, join us for our 414 All Nights, a celebration of our diverse fan base where we showcase fan stories and highlight their unique and impactful contributions to our community. Come for the amazing Bucks basketball action. Stay for the recognition of our amazing fan base at our 414 All Nights, where diversity is embraced and every fan is celebrated. Go to bucks.com/impact for dates and details.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Watch your team compete on big screens in T. McSee's Sports Bar or the Sports Illustrated Sportsbook Room. Yes, you can bet the spread, parlays, futures, and more with Sports Illustrated Sportsbook at Island Resort and Casino. Your place to bet on sports. To book a game time getaway at the Island, call 800-682-6040 today.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Last night I let the party get the best of me. Waking up in the morning, 2 laying next to me. Plus I heard an officer arresting me. Good cold drink.
It is KBN here on ESPN Wisconsin. Bradley Nortman, a longtime NFL punter. Myself, Kyle Wallace. Max Myerson holding it down. Ben Bruss on hiatus vacation.
Chilling.
He decided at the holiday he wanted to extend for the rest of the year. So, Ben, we'll see you we'll see you. But you know who never takes time away? It's Brian Bulaga. Brian, thank you for joining us here on KBN. How you doing? How was your holiday?
Good, guys. How you doing? Everything was good here. Just got to spend some time with family, which was great, and enjoyed Christmas, and now back to it here.
Brian, what would you have done if you saw a teammate go out as an extra captain, a fourth captain, go rogue, and then call the coin toss, and then almost mess it up? What would you have done on the sideline had you seen that happen?
Well, this, fortunately, it never happened while we were there. I think the leadership structure that we had in Green Bay at my time there, guys wouldn't even had a thought to do that. We'll just say that if that ever did happen, and it's hard to even imagine it happening, there'd be some very choice words, not just on the sideline, but back in the locker room and probably on the plane and then back in the locker room the next day. It would not have gone well. And it makes me question a lot of what's going on with the leadership group in the locker room, because that stuff doesn't happen if guys are kind of understanding, leadership roles, what that takes, what sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do as a leader, and that's confront people and set standards. And that's clearly an issue right now in the locker room. We saw it right after the Bucks game with the tweet from Devondre Campbell. That kind of started it, and now here we go. It just kind of continues to tumble downhill with that. And there's veteran guys in that locker room, and I'm questioning why these things continue to happen when there are good veteran guys in there. Kenny Clark, Preston, Elton, Aaron Jones. These guys have been around for a long time, and I'm wondering what's happening behind the scenes with that, because I know for a fact if that was in a locker room that I was in, it wouldn't have happened. It would have never happened, and it would have been addressed really quick.
So you're saying some blame falls on veteran players for not being more vocal, more stern, setting a standard, maybe just as much as it is on Matt LaFleur? Would you go as far as saying that?
Well, the coach. This is where I kind of have I'm torn on this, because we obviously saw what the steps Matt took. Obviously, he suspended him. He and Goody got on the same page, and he got suspended a game. That's putting your foot down, moving in the right direction. Doesn't matter if Justin Jefferson's on the field on Sunday night. You have to set a precedent in the locker room. But for a coach, you have guys that are supposed to set that precedent in the locker room, that are supposed to control the locker room. There's a reason why, not just for play on the field, but for just kind of making sure the locker room is a good place to be. There's cohesion in there, and there's it's hard to say. I don't want to say it's like the military where it's ranked out, but there is a clear, power structure within a locker room. And I do have to look at it from the veteran point of view, and that why that standard isn't being upheld, because I can assure you, and I know it for a fact, it would have never, ever happened. Obviously, the big dog and the power structure started with Aaron in the locker room. If anything gets out of line, he's the first one to address it. And then it kind of goes down the chain. And I was fortunate enough to be with great veterans throughout my entire time there. I mean, you're looking at Charles Woodson, Donald Driver, right when I walked in, Nick Collins, and then obviously as time evolved, Josh Sitton, TJ Lang, Jordy Nelson, Aaron, obviously, and the list can go on. And things just no one ever thought of stepping out of line like that, because it would have been addressed very quick, and they probably wouldn't have liked what came with it. So it's just a matter of getting guys in the locker room to understand their roles on the team and kind of where they fit in that locker room, and do they have a voice? Are they able to kind of put guys in their place and set a standard for the locker room? And that's the one thing I kind of question with this.
I think this is a great opportunity for a reset for Matt LaFleur for the Green Bay Packers, because there's been a lot of movement with this team, obviously with Aaron Rodgers leaving, but with the young, impressionable team that you have on the offensive side of the ball, and clearly in the leaders of Kenny Clark, who probably doesn't feel comfortable stepping up and saying something, or Devontae Campbell that doesn't feel comfortable saying something to Jair Alexander, the coach taking that step, that could be a great reset moving forward for the Packers. Do you think the Packers will be better off not having Jair next year?
That's an interesting. Like, I don't want to say yes, because I think he's a very good player. Like,
Agreed.
That's the thing that I'm torn on, because I know Jair. I played with Jair, and I think he's a good dude. I really do. When I was in the locker room with him, there was never. Listen, he's a different personality. But there's a bunch of different personalities in the locker room. But it's a matter of how guys understand kind of where they're at, and how everyone kind of vibes in the locker room. And there was never an issue with Jair in the locker room. But he needed, obviously not he needed, but he kind of needed to understand that you can't do that. Like, this can't be something that goes on, because there are other guys on the team that are young, impressionable. And if they think you can get away with this, then they think, maybe in a year I'll be able to just do whatever I want, or say whatever I want, or act however I want. So this was a step that, Matt LaFleur needed to do, and I think it was the right one. And I understand people are upset that, like, it was just over a coin toss. I mean, it's never just over a simple thing like that. Things have obviously been building for them to come to this step. Obviously, that move that happened against Carolina was something that they thought obviously was out of bounds. I thought it was out of bounds. I couldn't believe it when I first saw the report on it. I thought it was like an Onion report, like someone was joking around with it. But then, and it was real. But Matt LaFleur, that was a move to kind of get the locker room back in check and say, hey guys, like, that's not going to fly here. We know he's an important player and he's a really good player, and we're going against a really good wide receiver group, on Sunday, but we just can't have it. So I think that was a good step by Matt LaFleur.
Brian, real quick before we let you go, Kyle and I decided, between Joe Barry and Alexander, we need some positivity. So we talked about Jordan Love. Have you seen enough out of Jordan Love this season to, crown him franchise quarterback, trending toward, elite status? Is he our guy? They're gonna crown him this year, right?
Yeah, definitely the franchise quarterback. No question, without a doubt. He
elite?
Is the franchise guy. I don't think he's elite yet. I don't think we could say that. Okay. You still got some time to go before you get put in an elite category in this league. And I think the term gets thrown around a little loosely at times, unfortunately.
Was Herbert elite? Is he elite?
Right now?
Yes.
Not yet. No.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that standard you say. I mean, you play with he's a great one.
So Love is franchise guy, but not elite yet.
Not elite yet. Herbert's on his way to elite. Love has got some way to go to become elite, but trending in the right direction, obviously. We see his statistics, see how he's doing this year. he's trending in the right direction.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Brian Bulaga, for joining us. Former Green Bay Packer. You can hear Brian next on the Homer Hour right here on ESPN Wisconsin. Thanks, Max. Thanks, Brad. Thank you, KBN Nation. We'll see you tomorrow.
We've got an accident northbound 43 at Kilbourne's blocking the right lane, so watch out for that. Then it continues kind of heavy right around the North Avenue curve all the way up to about Keith. The southbound side slowing down from before Hampton Avenue all the way to Locust. Eastbound 94 hitting the brakes from about 76th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. Starts to let up once you get past